The setting sun seeped into Guanyu's small rental house like a pool of spilled blood. He was 28 years old and had just returned from working overtime at the company. He still smelled of cheap coffee and printing paper. Real life is like an endless marathon. He squeezes into the subway and types on the keyboard every day. His monthly salary is barely enough to pay the rent and take out food. Dream? That thing has long been ground to dust by life. But tonight was different. He glanced at the VR helmet on the table. It was his only solace era of fantasy, a near-future fully immersive online game where hundreds of millions of players are chasing glory and money on the virtual continent. Come on, let me take a breath. Guanyu muttered to himself and put on his helmet. The cold metal touch pressed against his face, and the world instantly distorted, turning into a bright galaxy. He felt his body sinking lightly into nothingness, and a familiar login sound sounded in his ears, low drum beats mixed with wind whistles, like a summoning ceremony in ancient legends. His vision lit up, and he was already standing on the stone square of Novice Village, surrounded by bustling players. The air was filled with the smell of barbecue and rust, and the stone bricks under his feet were still moist with morning dew. Guanyu rubbed his eyes and opened the system interface habitually. As an ordinary player, his level is only in his early 30s, and he relies on scraping equipment to make do. On weekdays, he just brushes low-level dungeons and can only have a hot meal. But today, the game's official update announcement is like a shining badge, bouncing in the center of the field of vision. Latest version, Shadow is coming. The title was scary. Guanyu clicked on it, and the words poured out like a waterfall. Dear adventurers, the new map Shadow Forest, an era of fantasy, is officially opened. This ancient woodland hides countless treasures, and the refresh rate of rare monsters is increased by 30%. Explorers will have the opportunity to trigger limited-time events and drop legendary equipment. Note, there is abnormal fog at the edge of the forest. Players need to proceed with caution. For more details, please pay attention to the hidden tips. Guanyu narrowed his eyes and scanned the announcement. On the surface, this is a standard marketing routine to stimulate players to spend money to level up. But he always felt something was wrong. As a player who loves to browse forums, he remembers the rumors of missing players last week. Several high-level players entered the area where similar incidents occurred and then stopped going online. The official only said it was a technical failure. He read the last sentence carefully, hidden hint. This is an old trick. Guanyu's heart moved. He switched to advanced mode and enlarged the text. Sure enough, behind the abnormal fog, there was a line of small runes hidden in the background shadow. The footprints of the missing person point to the blue light relic. Predictor, one step ahead. Damn, what does this mean? Guanyu exclaimed in a low voice. Other players are still chatting in the square, but he is already ahead. This hidden hint is obviously prepared for those who are interested, pointing to rare drops. At this moment, his golden finger was activated, that mysterious precognitive ability that had been following him since the game beta, like an invisible mentor. A picture flashed in his mind. Deep in the Shadow Forest, a blue light flashed, and accompanied by a roaring monster, a shining talisman dropped. The precognition lasted for 3 seconds, but it was enough to make his heart beat faster. Shadow Blade Amulet, blue equipment, increases dodge and shadow damage. This thing is worth at least tens of thousands of cash. A refreshing feeling of excitement surged through my heart. Guanyu has never felt the feeling of leading so clearly. In the past, he always followed others and picked up the scraps. Now, this announcement seems to be tailor-made for him. He quickly closed the interface, picked up his novice sword, and ran towards the portal. In the square, the players were still talking about it. Shadow Forest? I heard there is a big boss. I'm going to explore the path first. Who will team up with me? Guanyu ignored it and teleported directly to the edge of the forest. The air suddenly became damp and cold, the shadows of the trees swayed like ghosts, and the footsteps made a tiny clicking sound on the fallen leaves. The mist rolled in the distance, like a living veil, and the low roar of wild beasts could be faintly heard. He took a deep breath and stepped into the edge of the forest. The golden finger of prediction was slightly hot again, reminding him that there was danger ahead. Sure enough, after walking a few steps, a group of low-level shadow wolves sprang out, gray-black hair, eyes shining like rubies, claws scratching the ground, leaving phosphorescent scratches. The leading shadow wolf pounced, as fast as an arrow. Guanyu instinctively wanted to dodge, but was half a beat too slow. My heart sank. It's over, my rookie body can't bear it. But the power of foresight is at this moment. In his mind, the picture played in slow motion. The wolf's claws passed by from the left side, and he only needed to take half a step sideways to strike back at the vital point. Guanyu gritted his teeth and twisted as if from muscle memory. The wolf's claws scratched his shoulder, causing a burning phantom pain. The air was filled with the stench of beasts. He stabbed the wolf's neck with his backhand sword, and blood spurted out like ink. Other shadow wolves surrounded him, and he flashed 3 times in a row based on his prediction. Each time it was like a rehearsed dance. As the sword light flashed, the 3 wolves fell to the ground and turned into points of light and disappeared. Ding! Kill X4 shadow wolves, gain 200 experience points, and drop X2 shadow wolf skins. The system prompt sounded, and more importantly, a blue light amulet rolled down next to the leading wolf, the Shadow Blade amulet. Guanyu picked it up and felt a chill running into his arm. The attribute panel popped up, dodge plus 15%, shadow damage plus 20%. With the equipment on my body, the world seems to be much clearer, and the subtle vibrations of the leaves and the whispers in the wind have become predictable. This is too strong. He gasped, feeling a surge of heat in his heart. From a rookie who was chased by monsters, to now he can easily fight back. This golden finger is not just a tool, it allows him to see the dawn of wealth. Real poverty? Damn it, this game changes everything. As he was checking his equipment, he heard footsteps in the trees. A sturdy warrior player broke out, holding a giant axe, wearing worn-out iron armor, and sweating profusely. Brother, was that your fight just now? How handsome. Those shadow wolves have been chasing me for a long time, and you killed the leader with a sword? The familiar man grinned, showing his white teeth, and his eyes were shining with passion. Guanyu took half a step back alertly, but he had no warning beforehand, so he nodded. I'm lucky, I dodged a few times. Who are you? My name is Ziyuan, a hot-blooded warrior. I just came from Novice Village. I heard that there was a big incident in the forest, but I was blocked by wolves. I see that your equipment is good. Do you want to form a team? 1 person is short, 2 people are strong. Ziyuan patted his chest. His voice was loud, like a street performer, full of energy that refused to admit defeat. Guanyu hesitated for a moment. In this game, it is easy to get cheated if you form a random team. But Ziyuan's eyes were sincere, without any sinister calculation. He thought of the missing rumors announced. It was always easier to get things done with more than 1 person. Okay, my name is Guanyu. I just watched the update. There are hidden events in the forest. Have you heard the rumors about missing players? That fog is not simple. Ziyuan's eyes lit up and he came closer. I heard it. There's a big buzz on the forum. Some people say it's a shady game. Rare equipment drops, but there are risks. I was just trying to find out. Do you have any clues? Guanyu smiled and shared part of his prediction, of course, without mentioning the details of the golden finger. He only said, there are hidden hints in the announcement, and the blue light relic is the key. Ziyuan slapped his thighs when he heard this. Awesome. Much better than my head. Come on, let's go in together. I'll push forward, and you can direct the dodges. Dude, I feel like we can make a big difference. The two chatted while walking, and Ziyuan told his own story. In reality, he was a fitness instructor and loved the excitement of games. Guanyu downplayed the depression of reality, but felt a long-lost tacit understanding in the conversation. The forest is getting deeper and deeper, the mist wraps around the legs and feet like fingers, and the air is mixed with the smell of decaying earth and faint blood. Ziyuan swings an axe to clear the way, and Guanyu uses the new talisman's shadow sensing to explore the way, complementing each other perfectly. Suddenly, in the grass ahead, a flashing object came into view, a broken player badge with dried blood on the edge and abnormal blue light particles scattered around it, unlike ordinary drops. Guanyu squatted down, touched it, and his fingers trembled. The system did not prompt, but it inspired a fragment of prediction. The owner of the badge screamed and disappeared into the mist. "Is this a player's relic?" Guanyu murmured, the spark of reasoning igniting in his mind. Missing rumors are no longer gossip, they are real mysteries. He felt that he was no longer the ordinary player who passively farmed monsters, but an adventurer embarking on the path of detective. Ziyuan also frowned. "Brother, this thing is evil. Shall we continue digging?" Guanyu nodded, his eyes locked on the fog shadow in the depths, and the passion in his heart spread like wildfire. The mist caressed Guanyu's cheek like a cat's paw, carrying a damp musty smell, faintly mixed with the rusty smell of metal. Deep in the shadow forest, the trees twisted into weird shapes, their branches and leaves intertwined like bones, blocking the remaining glimmer of light. The fallen leaves piled up layer by layer underfoot, and each step made a soft crunching sound, like stepping on a rotting corpse. Guanyu held the shadow blade talisman tightly, and the blue light pulsed slightly, giving him an illusory sense of security. Ziyuan walked in front, his huge axe across his chest, his muscles tense, and his breathing was as heavy as a bellows. "There aren't even birds chirping in this damn place," Ziyuan complained in a low voice. The axe blade cut across a clump of vines, and the juice splashed out, exuding a sour smell. "Brother, your precognition, isn't it a hidden hint, saying where the blue light relic is? We can't make this trip in vain." Guanyu nodded, the fragments of prediction just now echoing in his mind. The broken badge was still in his hand, with a vague player ID engraved on its surface, Shadowrunner 87. He is a guy who is used to working alone. In reality, he always takes care of overtime work and rent alone, never asking for help. But now, Ziyuan's back is as reliable as a wall, making him feel for the first time that the game should not just be a battlefield for the Lone Ranger. Further forward, there is movement in the fog. Be careful not to miss the mark. As soon as he finished speaking, a figure appeared in the fog curtain ahead, an old NPC man, dressed in ragged clothes, holding a crooked wooden staff, and his face had wrinkles as deep as ravines. The air was suddenly filled with the sweet smell of burning incense, like offerings in a temple. The old man coughed twice, and his voice was as hoarse as the wind blowing through a dry well. "Young adventurers, are you here to hunt for treasure? The secret of the forest is hidden under the blue spring. I can lead the way, but I have to pay a price, a gold coin." Ziyuan stopped and raised his axe slightly. "National People's Congress? The AI of this game is really lifelike. Gold coins? Old man, don't cheat us. How much are the things in the novice area worth?" He turned to look at Guanyu, his eyes full of excitement. "Brother, will you give it? Maybe it's a side mission." Guanyu frowned, and the golden finger of prediction ran through his mind like electricity. The picture flashed, the old man led the way, the ground beneath their feet collapsed, and they fell into the bottomless abyss. The surrounding fog twisted into a smiling face in anticipation, as fake as cheap special effects. "Wait, there's something wrong." He took Ziyuan's arm, and the touch was solid and strong. The announcement didn't mention NPC, and there was no system halo in the old man's eyes. "This is fake. It may be a player disguise, or a game bug." The old man's expression changed, and the wooden stick struck the ground violently, causing the ground to tremble. The fog suddenly thickened, and the sweet fragrance turned into pungent smoke, burning the nasal cavity. Guanyu's heart beat faster. This was his first intuitive reasoning. In the past, he always followed the trend, but now he took the initiative to solve the mystery. "Back off. Trap." Before he finished speaking, the soil beneath his feet loosened, and a hidden vine trap sprang out, wrapping around Ziyuan's legs like a living snake. Ziyuan reacted very quickly. He swung his axe and cut off the vines. Green juice splashed everywhere, making a sizzling corrosive sound. "Fuck! What the hell is this?" he roared, his blood boiling up, and he turned around to protect Guanyu, Brother, what do you say? I'll stand up for you, and you analyze it. Guanyu nodded, feeling warm in his heart. When fighting alone, he would always think while fighting, panicking like a headless fly. Now, with someone in front of him, he could concentrate on his reasoning. Precognition was activated again, and he squatted down to check the badge, piecing the pieces together in his mind. The blue light was not a treasure, but a signal. The missing players did not really disappear, but were teleported to a hidden area to test the shady aspects of the game. The developers used abnormal events to screen high players and drop rare equipment, but the risk is permanent ban? No, it's more insidious, like hiding plots in closed beta tests and kidnapping player data. This incident is a shady incident. Guanyu whispered, with an excited tremor in his voice, the disappearance is an illusion, and the badge is a bait. Point the blue light relic at the developer's test area, and if you crack it, you can trigger the real drop. But the trap is a guard mechanism. He stood up and pointed at the old man. The figure had twisted and turned into a black mist, with the outline of the player faintly floating inside. That's a disguised player, or an AI virus. Ziyuan, attack its staff. Ziyuan laughed and smashed the axe down like thunder. Understood. Look at it, brother. The metal collided with the mist, sparks exploded, the air trembled, and a heat wave was caused. The black mist screamed and turned into a guardian beast, a giant shadow leopard with hair like liquid black ink and eyes as red as lava. When its paws stepped on the ground cracked open and gave off the smell of sulfur. The roar of the beast was deafening, and the mist came in like a tide, making Guanyu breathless. Fighting breaks out. Shadow Leopard pounced on Ziyuan, as fast as lightning. The wind from its claws blew through him, tearing his armor apart, and the phantom pain felt like real burning. Ziyuan gritted his teeth and held it in, sweeping the axe and forcing the beast back. Come on, you beast. But the leopard was flexible and moved around to the flank. Guanyu's foresight came to the rescue at this moment. The screen showed the leopard's claws coming from the right, and he shouted, left, stab the heart with the right. Ziyuan listened to the order and rolled sideways. The mud splashed up and covered his face, and the smell of earth hit his nostrils. He thrust the axe blade straight with his backhand and embedded it in the leopard's neck. Blood spurted out like oil, sticky and warm. Guanyu was not idle. The Shadow Blade amulet activated shadow damage. He attacked from behind. The sword light flashed across the leopard's back like a blue light, tearing a deep groove. The beast roared in pain and swept its tail. Guanyu dodged with anticipation and rolled to the side. The bark of the tree cracked and sawdust flew like rain. There's a tacit understanding of cooperation, brother. Ziyuan gasped, his face covered with sweat, but he smiled brightly. You command and I charge. It feels like brothers Tao in real life. Guanyu felt hot in his heart. In the past, he always felt that the team was a burden, but now he understands that trust can amplify strength. The inner monologue is like a flash of thought. I can no longer carry it alone. This game and this life require partners. Hold on. Its weak point is its eyes. With a combined blow, the Ziyuan axe hit the leopard's eye, bursting out blue light fragments. The beast's body disintegrated and turned into a point of light, and the system prompt sounded, defeat the Guardian Shadow Leopard, gain 500 experience points, clue fragment X1. The fragment fell into Guanyu's hands, and felt as cold as jade. He activated precognition, and text appeared. The missing player was not dead, but was transported to a hidden copy by Blue Spring. The illusion was to cover up the developer's test. They were tampering with the drop mechanism and creating a monopoly on rare equipment. Cracked. Guanyu said excitedly. This was his first breakthrough in the mystery. Crisis turns into opportunity, and the badge is no longer a curse but a key. The location of the Blue Spring is clear in the prediction. In the heart of the forest, 3 fog walls need to be avoided. The team's tacit understanding improved, and Ziyuan patted him on the shoulder. Awesome. If it weren't for you, I would have fallen into trouble. We are natural partners. Just as they breathed a sigh of relief, the edges of the fragment flickered, and an encrypted message was unlocked. Guanyu touched his finger, and blood-red text jumped out. The disappearance of Shadow Walker 87 is not an accident. The auction house Xiao Gang is involved in the case. He manipulates the black market, buys out Blu-ray relics, and blocks competitors. The evidence is in the bidding record, code ZJ Shadow 001. Guanyu gasped, Xiao Gang? That auction house boss. There are rumors on the forum that he has a monopoly on rare equipment, and he is in the top 10 of the wealth list. This twist is like a bomb, and the suspense tension is instantly full. Is it not just developers who are shady, but also players? Xiao Gang, this bastard. Ziyuan gripped the axe tightly, his blood boiling. Brother, we can't just sit idly by. If we expose him, the equipment will be sold at high prices, and we will be rich soon. I support you, no matter how risky it is. Guanyu looked into Ziyuan's eyes. There was pure trust there. He nodded, his inner transformation accelerating. From a lone wolf to a leader, he took this step steadily. Thanks, buddy. Let's go and find the blue spring. But take off the fog first, it's not safe here. The climax is coming. The mist suddenly surged and surrounded him like a living creature. His field of vision was only as long as an arm, and his ears were filled with whispers, like the whispers of ghosts. Guanyu predicted that he was getting hot, and the screen showed, if you go straight, you will get lost. If you turn left, there will be an exit, but there will be a small group of shadow wolves. Left. Run. He pulled Ziyuan, his steps staggering in the fog, the moisture soaked into his clothes, and the chill was biting to the bones. The shadow wolf chased after him with a low roar, its claws beating like drums. Ziyuan turned around and struck out with an axe, killing both heads. The smell of blood mixed into the mist. Finally, the wall of fog broke and they broke into a forest clearing. The air became fresher, and the moonlight shone down, illuminating a blue spring in front of it, which shimmered like a gem embedded in the ground. Guanyu gasped and checked his equipment. The Shadow Blade Talisman had alleviated his disadvantage, and his prediction pointed to the drop point of an intermediate armor under the Spring Iron Thorn breastplate, with a defense of plus 25%, which was enough to cope with the next wave of challenges. The pleasure of a gradual counterattack rushed through him like an electric current, and he felt that the shackles of poverty were loosening a little. Ziyuan wiped his sweat and grinned, it's great. This is called adventure. Next stop, the auction house? Kill that guy Xiao Gang. Guanyu smiled and cast his gaze into the depths of the spring. The blue light flickered faintly, indicating more secrets. The water surface of the blue spring is as calm as a mirror, and the moonlight falls, reflecting ripples like broken silver. The air is filled with a refreshing mineral smell, mixed with the moist fragrance of earth. Guanyu squatted by the spring. The blue light of the Shadow Blade Talisman reflected on the bottom of the water, vaguely outlining the outline of an iron-gray breastplate. He took a deep breath and touched the water with his fingers, feeling the coolness rush into his arms like needle pricks. The golden finger of prediction was slightly hot, and the picture flashed. There are no traps at the bottom of the spring, and it only takes 10 seconds to dive to reach the armor. In the past, he was always timid and afraid of wasting time. Now, this initiative makes him feel like a different person. Brother, do you want to fish it out? It doesn't look shallow. Ziyuan bent over and leaned on his shoulder with the giant axe on his shoulder. Sweat beads slid down his forehead and dripped into the spring, causing small ripples. His voice is full of passion, like a real-life gym buddy, always igniting the air around him. Guanyu nodded, took off his outer robe, and jumped in. The cold water instantly enveloped the whole body, like countless small hands pulling at him, and the vision blurred into a blue mist. He swam down with foresight, and the armor floated within reach, the iron thorn breastplate. The surface was covered with barb-like patterns, with a defense plus 25%, and the back damage of the thorns was also included. When he picked it up, the system dinged, obtain rare equipment, iron thorn breastplate. After equipping it, the physical defense will be improved. He surfaced and shook his hair, water droplets splashing around and hitting Ziyuan's boots. Awesome! If you put this thing on, you will be a tank. Ziyuan laughed and helped him wipe the water stains on the breastplate. It felt rough and hard, like real armor. Now that we have all the equipment, let's continue digging up the shady story. Zhao Gang's message feels like a big fish. Guanyu put on the breastplate and felt his shoulders feel heavy, but they were as steady as a rock. A warm current surged in his heart. This was not just an equipment upgrade, it was the first time he had benefited from his own reasoning. In the past, the game was an escape for him. Now, it has become a battlefield to prove himself. Let's go, there are clues by the spring. The two of them searched around the edge of the spring, their footsteps stepping on the wet moss, making a soft sucking sound. Suddenly, a friend request pops up on Guanyu's system interface, with the ID flashing in gold. Ruian invites you to add friends. Note, I heard that you cracked the Shadow Leopard Guardian, and I have old files to share. Guanyu was stunned, and he didn't foresee the warning. He had vaguely heard of this ID on the forum, a senior player who specializes in digging out hidden plots in games, like a walking encyclopedia. Who is it? Ziyuan came over, his eyes narrowed. Would you like me? Don't be Zhao Gang's undercover. Guanyu hesitated for half a second and clicked to accept. The friend list lights up. Ruian's avatar is a hooded ranger, and the starry sky map is in the background. Guanyu? I'm Ruian, a game veteran. I just completed a hidden mission nearby and heard the system prompt that you triggered the Blue Spring incident. Congratulations, you are a rare reasoning player among newcomers. The chat window pops up, and Ruian's tone is like that of an old jianghu, with the vicissitudes of a cigarette. Let me share a tip first, the friend list is not a simple matter of adding people. Press and hold the right button of the ID to unlock the hidden link. Try it, add me and click. You can connect to the branch map, the Forgotten Trail of the Shadow Forest. There are old campsites of missing players there, and there are shady clues hidden there. Guanyu tried it, clicking his finger in the void, the interface expanded like ripples, and a hidden path emerged. Turn right from the Blue Spring, leading to a fog-locked canyon. A refreshing sense of surprise rushed into his heart. This technique was like a key, opening up a level he had never touched before. Thanks, Ruian. This is so practical. Why are you so polite? This is how the game should be played. Ruian replied quickly, but I have to warn you, missing people is not a trivial matter. Last month's update, I saved the old announcement file. I sent it to you. There is a hidden code. There is a ZJ sequence hidden at the end of each announcement, pointing to Zhao Gang's auction black market. He not only monopolizes equipment, but also manipulates events, induces players into traps, and sells data to third parties. Missing people? Most of them are high-level players who were kidnapped into the test area and forced to contribute combat data. File attachments arrive. Guanyu opens them, and old announcements tumble like slides. Visually, the code between the text flashes, ZJ Shadow 001, which is what they got from the badge. What's even more shocking is that a line of notes appeared. Li Jing, a detective player, investigated ZJ last month and disappeared in the Blue Spring incident. Her analysis Golden Finger specializes in breaking the announcement. If we meet, we will work together. Li Jing? Guanyu was shocked. He had heard this name on the forum. She was a female gamer who specialized in digging up game conspiracies, like a virtual detective. Piecing together the fragments of foresight, she may still be in the hiding area, waiting for rescue. This turning point is like lightning, connecting suspenseful clues. He felt that reasoning was no longer an isolated puzzle, but a living web that inspired him to go deeper. Ruian, do you know this Li Jing? Just what I heard. Her golden finger for analyzing announcements is a perfect match for your precognitive partner. After adding me as a friend, the system will push her location prompt. Be careful of Zhao Gang's men, they are eyeing Wan Quan. I will wait for you in the canyon to share more. After the chat ended, Guanyu turned to Ziyuan and said, we added a big boss, Ruian. With the hidden paths and files, Zhao Gang's shady involvement is even greater. Li Jing is the key, she may still be alive. Ziyuan's eyes lit up and he patted his breastplate. Okay. The team has expanded. Let's take the path of oblivion. I will open the way. As they moved along the road, the fog gradually thinned. The entrance to the canyon was like the mouth of a giant beast, the rock walls were slippery, and the wind was filled with echoing whispers. Suddenly, fire flashed in front, and 3 players blocked the road. The leader was a tall and lanky assassin with the ID Xiaoling. The auction house badge flashed on his body, and his dagger swam like a poisonous snake. The smell of fireworks hung in the air, and around them were makeshift campfires, the greasy aroma of barbecue filling their nostrils. "Hey, new face? Hand over Lan Quan's things." Xiaoling sneered, his voice as sharp as scratching glass, and his eyes glanced at Guanyu's breastplate. "Boss Zhao Gang has an order, this incident area belongs to us. Get out, otherwise don't blame your hands." Ziyuan took a step forward, his axe buzzing. "Zhao Gang's men? Just the 3 of you, bullying the newcomers? Come on, let me teach you how to behave." His muscles bulged with passion, and his armor made a low friction sound. Guanyu pulled him, and the precognition was activated. The screen showed that Xiaoling was the bait, and there was a mini-boss hidden in the cracks in the rock behind the Thunder Wolf King, who would fight in groups after being summoned. A sense of weakness came over them, 3 against 2, and their equipment was still unstable. But this is an opportunity to slap Zhao Gang in the face and turn from weak to strong. Don't be impulsive, Ziyuan. They have an ambush. Listen to me, delay, and lure out the boss. Zhaoling sneered, Xiao Bai still wants to play dirty? Brothers, come on. 2 followers rushed out, one mage chanted fireball, heat waves hit his face, and the air was distorted, the other archer drew the bow, and the arrows whistled, with the sharpness of the wind. On top of Ziyuan, the axe swept across, blocking the fireball, causing sparks to fly in all directions, and the hot breath burned his face. Come on. Let's see who is ruthless. He roared, hitting the archer with an axe and forcing him back. His footsteps shook the ground and dust flew up. Guanyu was wandering on the flank, predicting like a radar scan. The arrow came from the lower left corner, he dodged, the sword stabbed the mage's shoulder, shadow damage exploded, and the health bar dropped wildly. The mage screamed in pain, retreated and hit the rock wall, stone debris collapsed, and gray mist was thrown up. How, do you know? The mage exclaimed. Guess. Guanyu sneered, but his heart was in turmoil. In the past, he always swung his sword randomly, but now prediction and reasoning are integrated. He not only sees the future, but also predicts the opponent's intentions. This integration transformed him from support to core, and his confidence exploded like wildfire. The thorn chest armor flashed back, and the mage's fireball backfired on himself, screaming and falling to the ground. Xiao Ying's face turned livid, damn it. He activated his skill, Phantoms of Daggers multiplied, and pounced on Guanyu. Predictive picture superimposition, the dagger's trajectory is like a net, and its weak point is on the right rib. Guanyu shouted, Ziyuan, cut off his escape. Ziyuan turned around and jumped, the axe was like a hurricane, forcing Xiaoling to dodge sideways and hit Guanyu's prediction point. The sword light penetrated, Zhao Ying's health bar bottomed out, and he knelt down, spare my life. But the prediction didn't stop, the crack in the rock cracked, and the Thunder Wolf King sprang out. The giant beast's hair stood on end, arcs of electricity entangled, its roar was like thunder, the ground trembled, and the air was filled with the pungent smell of ozone. The Wolf King's claws stomped on the ground, lightning shot out, the archer was killed, and his body turned into a point of light. The boss is here. Ziyuan shouted excitedly, brother, take command. Guanyu took a deep breath and activated his integration ability. Prediction showed that the Wolf King's electric shock cycle was 5 seconds, and his weak point was the throat. Go around to the left, avoid the electric arc. Wait 3 seconds, focus the fire on your throat. He moved first, and the spines on his chest blocked the claw strike. The lightning flashed back, and the Wolf King howled in pain, his hair was burnt black, and he smelled of burning. Ziyuan charged, the axe fell in the wind, Guanyu followed up and stabbed with the sword. The tacit understanding is like breathing, the Wolf King struggles, the arc sweeps across, Guanyu rolls to the ground to dodge, mud splashes on his face, and the smell of earth smells in his nose. With the final blow, the Ziyuan axe blade embedded itself in his throat, causing a burst of blood. The Wolf King disintegrates, and the Thunder Bracers drop from the Light Point's intermediate equipment, attack speed plus 20%, Thunder attribute damage, flashing blue electricity. Ding! Defeat the Thunder Wolf King, get 800 experience points, and equipment. A burst of excitement. From being a weakling who was provoked to killing the boss, this slap in the face is as sweet as honey. Zhaoan got up, his face turned pale. You, Boss Zhao will not let you go. But he turned around and ran away, leaving behind the body of his follower. Guanyu looked at Ziyuan and had an inner monologue. This is not just a victory, but a turning point. I am no longer the follower, precognition and reasoning, I am the brain. With so much confidence, he felt that the poverty of reality was far away. In this game, there were endless opportunities. Ziyuan, I'll give you the wristband. We two are invincible. Ziyuan took it and grinned. Thank you, brother. The canyon Ruyan mentioned is right ahead. Li Jing's clues indicate that a big drama is about to begin. Team expansion. Find her and form a large team. As they advanced, there were mist and shadows in the depths of the canyon, and faint whispers could be heard. Guanyu touched his wristband and felt danger following him. The shady situation was bottomless, and Zhao Gang's revenge was bound to come. But opportunities also flicker, crack everything, become rich and become a legend, just around the corner. His inner transformation accelerated, and he moved from a lonely player to a leader, with firm steps and an unknown electric smell in the wind. The wind in the depths of the canyon blew across the rock wall like a razor blade, bringing with it the smell of damp moss and the faint aftertaste of electricity. Guanyu touched his newly acquired thunder wristbands and felt the slight numbness still pulsating between his fingers. The blue arcs on his wristbands flashed occasionally, reflecting the sweat on his face, making him look like a warrior who had just come off the battlefield. Ziyuan walked in front, carrying a giant axe on his shoulder, and his boots made a crunching sound on the gravel. He turned around and grinned. Brother, this canyon is eerie. That old bird Ruyan said to wait inside. Don't you want to trick us? Guanyu shook his head, knowing that Golden Finger did not give a danger signal, but instead pointed faintly at a campfire ahead. No, the files he shared are reliable. Zhao Gang's shady story involves the auction house. We have to dig deeper. In his heart, he felt that he had changed. When he used to work alone, he always calculated personal gains and losses while walking. Now, with Ziyuan by his side, there is an additional layer of team considerations in his mind. It doesn't feel bad, like finally having a roommate with whom I can share the rent. Turning around a huge rock, a campfire came into view. The fire was dancing, and several unknown pieces of meat were roasting. The greasy aroma was fragrant, mixed with the choking smell of smoke. A hooded figure sat cross-legged, exactly the outline of Ruyan's head. He raised his head, revealing a middle-aged face under the hood, with a shaggy beard, eyes narrowed, and a smoky voice. You came quickly, Guanyu. Looking at your new clothes, have you passed the Wolf King test? Not bad, a rare tacit understanding among newcomers. Ziyuan raised his hand and said enthusiastically, thanks to Guanyu for commanding. Brother, where's the Li Jing you were talking about? Can she really help? Ruyan nodded, picked up a branch from the fire, poked the ashes, and sparks flew everywhere. She is hiding in a nearby spot. I will introduce you after I confirm that you are reliable. After adding me as a friend, the system pushed her location, the left fork in the road, the forgotten camp. Her golden fingers specialize in breaking the hidden codes of announcements, which are more delicate than your predictions. Come on, I will lead the way. But first, we have agreed that this is a small team. It is very risky to investigate the shady case, and Zhao Gang's men are everywhere. Guanyu clicked on the friend interface, Ruyan's link was activated, and a hidden path emerged, pointing directly to the end of the fork in the road. The three of them walked side by side. The canyon was as narrow as the intestines of a giant beast, the rock walls were covered with vines, their tentacles were wet and cold, and the air was filled with the smell of mold and rot. After walking for a few minutes, a dilapidated camp appeared in the mist ahead. The tent collapsed, bone-like sticks were scattered on the ground, surrounded by low stone piles, covered with vague runes. The wind blew, and the tent cloth made a flapping sound, like the whisper of a ghost. A figure jumped out from behind the tent, as agile as a cat, a female player, with long hair tied into a ponytail, wearing a light armored ranger outfit, with a thin sword on her waist, eyes as sharp as an eagle, swept over the three of them, and stopped on Guanyu's amulet. Ruyan brought it? ID Guanyu? I'm Li Jing. I heard that you cracked the blue spring badge and predicted it would drop. Her voice was crisp, with a bit of the frankness of an urban girl, no nonsense, straight to the point. Guanyu was stunned. He didn't expect her to be so direct, but it felt reliable. He nodded. Yes, the badge mentions the ZJ sequence, which is related to Zhao Gang. Are you an expert in disappearance investigation? Li Jing smiled and squatted down to inspect the ground of the camp. She scratched the soil with her fingers and dug out a half-buried badge fragment. It felt rough and earthy to the touch. I'm not an expert, but the announcement cheat allows me to see through hidden things. Add friends, and the system will share some data. Ruyan said you had a prediction. If we work together, we can dig out big fish. A friend request pops up, Guanyu accepts it, the interface flashes, and Li Jing's analysis panel is shared. She activated the golden finger, and old announcements appeared in her field of vision, reorganized like a puzzle. The Shadow Forest update tail code was not random, but a ZJ control sequence. Zhao Gang used the black market to bribe developers, manipulated NPCs to create fake events, lured players into traps, and tampered with the drop probability, so that rare equipment could only be circulated in his auction house. The core of the shady story: missing player data is sold in exchange for monopoly rights. Look at this, Li Jing pointed at the code projected in the air, her voice low and her eyes flashing with excitement. Blue Spring is not a natural event, it is Zhao Gang's NPC virus. The fake old man and Shadow Leopard Guardian are all program code implants, with the purpose of filtering high player data and reselling it to third-party studios. Rare equipment drops are locked, and only his bidding auction can unlock high prices. Superficial bidding, actual manipulation of the bottom price, players will never be able to afford it. Ziyuan's eyes widened and his axe buzzed. Damn. Is this bastard playing such a dirty trick? The missing one. Including my friend, Xiaowei. Li Jing's voice sank, her ponytail flickered, and the firelight reflected on her cheeks. She entered the Blue Spring last month, and the badge belongs to her. Announcement hidden hint, data kidnapping, not really missing, but if not cracked, the player ID will be permanently frozen, and the real account data will be leaked. We have to find the Forgotten Core, which is the NPC center. If you destroy it, you can save people and trigger real drops. Guanyu's heart tightened, and he pieced together the fragments of foreknowledge. The Forgotten Core was deep in the camp, and the guards were an elite group of monsters, Shadow Spirit Guards. The weaknesses were hidden in the announcement runes. Li Jing's analysis was like a patch, filling up his blind spots. In the past, he always felt that the game was a personal show. Now, looking at her firm eyes, he felt a sense of responsibility in his heart. Let's form a team. For the official team, I will command prediction, you analyze the weaknesses, and Ziyuan will step forward. Save Xiaowei, and also destroy Zhao Gang. Li Jing nodded, and the system prompt rang. Team composition: Guanyu, Captain; Ziyuan, Li Jing, Ruyan, temporary support. Ruyan smiled and pulled his hood. I will withdraw first and share the map. You can play by yourselves. Remember, after the core is triggered, Zhao Gang will chase him. As the team advanced, the fog in the depths of the camp was as thick as milk, and only a few meters of sight remained. The whispers in the ears turned into whispers of curses, and the chills penetrated the bones. Suddenly, the ground shook, the stone piles lit up with blue light, and more than a dozen Shadow Spirit Guards sprang out, ghostly warriors with translucent bodies, holding fog blades, eyes like black holes. The air was filled with the cold smell of death, and every step left a phosphorescent trail. The leading elite monster was the Shadow Spirit General. His armor shattered and his roar was like a storm, shaking the tent fabric to tear. "Here it comes! Guard battle!" Guanyu shouted, and his precognition was activated. The attack mode of the monster group is to charge in turns, and the drop points are the general's breastplate and rare leg armor shadow boots, movement plus 30%. Li Jing narrowed her eyes and scanned the announcement projection with her gold finger. The runes show that the shadow spirit is weak in fire attributes, and the blue core in the chest is the explosive point. But the group attack has a chain. If one link is broken, all will collapse. Ziyuan, withstand the top three and draw away the flanks. Ziyuan laughed, swung his axe, and rushed forward. "Leave it to me. Look at my iron wall." His muscles bulged, his armor buzzed, and the axe blade hit the first wave of shadow spirits, causing mist to scatter and cold fragments piercing his skin like ice needles. The monster's claws grabbed him, but he held it hard, and his health bar dropped by 10%. The phantom pain was like burning, but the thorns hurt him back, causing the shadow spirit to shatter and light spots to fly. "It's cool. These damn things are so crispy." Li Jing wandered on the flanks, thrust out her rapier, and aimed at the blue core. Weakness confirmed. "Guanyu, predict the trajectory of the fall. I'll hit it." She moved quickly, the sword light was like lightning, and stabbed a flanking shadow spirit, causing a chain of nuclear explosions. The three monsters disintegrated at the same time, screaming. The mist dispersed like fireworks, and the air was filled with the smell of burning. Guanyu's heart beat faster. This was the first time the team had perfect cooperation. His prediction was like a radar, marking the general's charging path. Left. "It's going to hit combo." He dodged to avoid the fog blade, stabbed the general's arm with his sword. Shadow damage rushed in, and the blue core flashed. Ziyuan withstood the general's main attack, swept with his axe, and forced the monster group back, shouting, "Brothers, suppress. This feels like a real team battle. It's so damn enjoyable." The battle reaches its climax. Surrounded by a group of shadow spirits, the mist blades are like nets, and Guanyu's precognition is superimposed. Li Jing's analysis: the chain weakness lies in the runes under the general's feet. He shouted, "Fire the ground. Break the formation." Li Jing threw out the fire talisman, her ranger skill. The flames exploded, the talisman cracked, the monster group froze, and the blue core was exposed. Ziyuan's axe was like thunder, smashing 5 heads. Guanyu's sword flashed continuously, predicting that every hit would hit, and the thunder wrist guard was wrapped with arcs, paralyzing the general. Li Jing's last knife was precise, and the tip of the sword pierced the core. The general roared in pain, the chest armor cracked, and the shadow boots fell. The black boots flashed, the movement speed increased by 30%, and came with the mist escape skill. All the monsters were wiped out, the lights were like rain, and the system was beeping non-stop. Defeat the Shadow Spirit Guard X12, Elite Shadow Spirit General X1. Gain 1500 experience points, team reward, branch trigger, Forgotten Core unlocked. Drops: Shadow Boots X1, Shadow Spirit Fragments X5. Guanyu picked up the boots and put them on his feet. He felt as light as the wind and the world became smoother. He panted and looked at his teammates. Ziyuan was covered in mist and smiled brightly. Li Jing wiped his sword and his eyes softened. Perfect cooperation, team strength, this is what makes me happy. The inner monologue was like lightning, the isolation in the past was like a shackle broken. Now, he not only wants to get rich for himself, but also wants to help Li Jing find Xiaowei. This motivation turned him from a player to a leader, and his confidence burned like fire. Li Jing squatted down and checked the core. A piece of blue crystal floated up, and she scanned it with her golden finger. Xiaowei's data is in it. But there is a twist. Zhao Gang's NPC manipulation record: he planted fake events, and the bidding auction was a cover. He actually used black market codes to control the drops and buy out all the rare equipment. The core is ruined, and his monopoly cracks. We can trigger real drops, but the auction house will make big moves. Ziyuan patted Guanyu on the shoulder. "Brother, the equipment has been upgraded. Next step, kill Zhao Gang?" Guanyu nodded, his eyes focused on the flickering light deep in the core, and his foreboding vaguely pointed to the auction house hall, and the level of suspense deepened. The rare equipment is close at hand, but the shadow of the black curtain is thicker. There are unknown whispers in the wind, and their footsteps are heading towards a deeper adventure. The blue crystal core pulses like a heart, and blue light spreads in the grotto deep in the camp, illuminating the surrounding cracked walls. The air is filled with an electronic smell of ozone, mixed with the dullness of old dust. Guanyu stepped on the shadow boots, his steps were as light as the wind, and he felt the ground shaking slightly, like a game breathing. The three members of the team moved forward in tacit understanding, with Li Jing exploring the way in front, the thin sword in her hand reflecting the blue light. Behind the Ziyuan palace, the giant axe buzzed, and the muscles were as tight as a fully drawn bowstring. The core is not simple, Li Jing whispered, her ponytail swaying, her golden finger activated, and the announcement fragments appeared in her field of vision like a puzzle. The announcement loophole is here. Zhao Gang did not implant a virus, but used the drop probability loophole when the game was updated. The developer left a backdoor. He bribed the inside, adjusted the monster refresh rate, so that rare equipment is only triggered in specific events, and then the black market manipulates the auction bottom price. Crack it, you can reverse the drop lock. Guanyu nodded, predicting the golden fingers coming like a tide, and the picture superimposed in his mind. Deep in the core, an ultimate guardian beast is entrenched, and when triggered, it will drop the Phantom Crown, a helmet-level rare equipment, prediction plus 25%, all attributes increased, worth at least 100,000 cash. But the boss's weakness is hidden in the blue crystal veins. Yes, Li Jing, your analysis completes my prediction. The core of the shady plot is probability control, the normal drop is 1%, he adjusted it to 0.01%, only for his own people. Ziyuan slapped his thigh when he heard it, and his voice was as loud as a street guy in real life. Awesome. This reasoning sounds like a detective movie. That guy Zhao Gang, if you play such a big game, you will fall sooner or later. Brothers, come on. Smash this thing, get the equipment, and we will pay it forward. At the end of the grotto, blue crystals were suspended in the center, and the surrounding veins covered the walls like blood vessels. Guanyu took a deep breath, pressed the crystal with his hand, and fully activated his precognition. The picture was like a high-speed film. After touching it, the guardian beast woke up and a battle broke out. A flash occurred in his heart. At this moment, he was no longer the poor boy in the rental house. With his prediction and team, he was proving that he was not a waste. Prepare to fight. Ziyuan withstands the first wave, and Li Jing and I break through the veins. His fingers touched the blue crystal, electric current coursed through him, and the system vibrated, triggering the core event of Oblivion, the ultimate guardian, summoning of the phantom dragon soul. The ground cracked, and blue mist spewed out, wrapping around the legs and feet like a living thing, chilling the bones. In the fog, a huge beast took shape, a phantom dragon soul, with scales like liquid blue shadows, wings spread out to cover the sky, eyes as red as lava, and a roar like thunder exploding, shaking the stone wall and causing rubble to roll down, throwing up dust and filling the nose. The air was filled with the pungent smell of sulfur and electricity. Dragon Soul waved his claws, and the wind was as strong as a knife, causing Guanyu's cheeks to hurt. Here it comes! This monster is big! Ziyuan roared, his blood surged, and he swung his giant axe and rushed to the front line. Look at my mountain-breaking chop. The axe blade was wrapped in the wind and hit the Dragon Soul's forelimb. Sparks flew out, the scales shattered, and blue blood sprayed like ink, sticky and warm. But the Dragon Soul's tail swept back, and Ziyuan was able to carry it hard. His armor was dented, and his health bar dropped by 20%. The phantom pain was like a real impact. He gritted his teeth, it hurts. But I can bear it, brother, command. Guanyu's prediction is like a radar that is fully turned on, and the screen predicts the trajectory of the Dragon Soul's attack. Claw attack from the left, breath 3 seconds later. Left flash. Li Jing, the weak point of the vein is at the root of the right wing, your fire talisman breaks it. He shouted, activated the fog escape with the shadow boots, and instantly moved sideways to avoid the claw wind. The sword light pierced the side of the dragon's soul, the thunder wristband arc wrapped around, the shadow damage exploded, the dragon's soul roared in pain, flapped its wings, set off a wave of fog, and soaked the clothes with moisture. Li Jing moved quickly, flashed her rapier, and threw out the fire talisman. Announcement: vulnerability confirmed. The veins are interlocking, breaking the right wing, and the whole body is stiff. The flames rushed into the wing roots, and the blue crystal veins were like burnt wires, making a sizzling sound, and the smell of burning was assailed. The dragon's soul froze for a moment, its breath was delayed, and Guanyu caught it with foresight. Now! Ziyuan, focus on the head. Ziyuan laughed and shook off his sweat. Understood. Iron-blooded charge. He jumped up, and the axe hit like a meteorite, embedded in the dragon's soul's neck. The sound of tearing flesh and blood was heard, and blue blood fell like rain, staining the ground red. The dragon's soul struggled, its tail swept forward. Guanyu rolled to the ground to dodge, stone chips rubbed his body, and the smell of earth was strong. Li Jing made a last strike and stabbed the vein break point, again. The probability is reversing, and the drop window is open. The battle is heating up. The wings of the dragon's soul flapped, creating a storm. The grotto shook, and rubble flew like shrapnel. Guanyu's thorn breastplate was injured and the lightning flashed back, paralyzing the left claw of the dragon's soul. His inner monologue was like lightning: this is not just fighting monsters, but a counterattack. The reality of poverty and the exhaustion of overtime work are like broken shackles. He proved that brains and team can change everything. Hold on. The health bar is 30% left, and the weak point is exposed: the eyes. The dragon's soul roared wildly, breathing blue flames. The heat wave burned the skin. Ziyuan withstood it, blocking the tongue of flames with an axe. The edge of the armor melted, and the smoke filled the air. It's so hot. But you can't retreat. Li Jing analyzed quickly. Announcement: tail code, ZJ loophole. The core of the dragon's soul is on the crown. Break it and kill instantly. She threw the second talisman, and the flames burned out the last veins. The dragon's soul's body became stiff, and its eyes flashed red. Guanyu felt that the time had come, and the scene was frozen. A blow to the top of his head, and the phantom crown fell. As the climax came, he jumped up, wrapped the sword blade in thunder and shadow, and stabbed it with all his strength. End it. The sword light was like a meteor, piercing the dragon's soul's eyes and going straight into the brain core. The monster howled miserably, blue blood exploded, its body disintegrated, and light spots poured down like star rain. The system buzzed: defeat the phantom dragon soul. Gain 3,000 experience points and increase the team level. Trigger a rare drop, Phantom Crown X1. The crown fell to the ground, and the helmet took shape in his hand: a silver-blue crown, inlaid with blue crystals. The moment he put it on, the world was extremely clear, the range of prediction expanded, and the attributes skyrocketed. Overall plus 25%, the helmet flashed, and the value soared to the sky. The feeling of exhilaration rushed through him like an electric current. From an ordinary player to a top player, this reversal made his heart beat like a drum. The premonition of skyrocketing wealth brings readers a surge of pleasure. A poor boy turns over overnight, and his equipment crushes the entire server. Haha. Awesome, Guanyu. Your sword is so cool. Ziyuan panted, patted his shoulder. His face was as sweaty as a child's. We have all the equipment, let's add Li Jing. We will be an invincible team. Li Jing came closer, her eyes sparkling softly, and she touched Guanyu's crown lightly. Thank you, Captain. Without your foresight, we wouldn't have been able to make it this far. She paused, her voice was soft, and she shared the information: Xiao Wei's data. She is hiding the copy, the core is destroyed, and she can get back online. But she left a message: Xiao Gang's black market not only sells equipment, but also sells players' privacy. After rescuing her, she will join and help us dig out more. Guanyu looked at her, feeling warm in his heart. This is not just a game. Li Jing's eyes are like a real confidant, strengthening the emotional bond. He nodded. She is ours. There is no shame in the team. The turning point in growth was fixed at this moment. proving his self-worth. The shackles of poverty and reality were broken, and he was no longer an evader, but a leader. But here comes the original twist. The Phantom Crown is activated. With a binding clue embedded, a blue light projection emerges. ZJ Shady Record, auction house bidding code ZJ Shadow 002, manipulates the dropped evidence. The holder can challenge the auction overlord and trigger a high-price event. Guanyu squinted. This crown is not only equipment, it is a key. Let's destroy Zhao Gang's auction house. Li Jing nodded and flicked her ponytail. Yes, sell it, bid at a high price, and expose the secret. The road to wealth starts from here. After Xiaowei comes back, the foursome will be invincible. Ziyuan clenched his fist. Let's go. See the real chapter at the auction house. Brothers, go get rich. The blue light of the grotto gradually faded, and they turned to leave. The wind was filled with the smell of new electric light, and suspense pointed to the auction hall, and the adventure spread like fire. Word count, 1287. The hustle and bustle of the main city came like a tide, and the portal flashed. Guanyu and the others escaped from the mist of the shadow forest and stepped onto the wide bluestone square. The air instantly became lively, with the smell of oily smoke from the barbecue stalls, mixed with the sound of hammering in the blacksmith shop and the shouts and shouts of the players. Wearing the phantom crown on his head, it felt faintly hot, like a warm current rushing into his mind, adding a layer of predictability to Guanyu's vision. The path of monsters and the intentions of NPCs were all as clear as a map. He took a deep breath, feeling that the equipment was more than just a prop, it was proof of his transformation. In the past, he always worked alone, but now that the team's back is like a pillar, he wants to do something big for the first time. The main city has finally arrived. When you smell the smell, you know you are alive. Ziyuan stretched out his arms, shouldering his giant axe, and his passionate laughter echoed in the square, attracting several passers-by's glances. Li Jing wiped her thin sword, her ponytail swayed slightly, and her eyes scanned the crowd. Don't relax, Zhao Gang's men are everywhere. Guanyu, your crown is too conspicuous, please keep a low profile for now. Ruian popped up a message from his friend's list, his voice as hoarse as a long-time smoker. Back in the city? Come and meet at the tavern. I'll teach you the advanced skills of adding allies. The game is not just about playing alone, the team is king. Guanyu nodded and replied to confirm. The three of them squeezed into the Longing Tavern. The lights inside were dim, the wooden tables exuded the aroma of old wine, and the players were in groups, discussing the latest events. Ruian had already taken a seat in the corner, with his hood pulled down, and he was holding a pot of ale in his hand. The foam overflowed and wet the edge of the table. Sit down, Ruian pushed the chair away and narrowed his eyes. Congratulations first. The Phantom Crown is a top-notch product. After the blessing of foresight, you are now one of the top 1,000 potential stocks in the server. But 3 people alone are not enough for a shady investigation. Listen up, adding friends is not child's play. Right-click on the ID and select Deep Link to scan the opponent's combat record and loyalty. If it exceeds 70%, it will be added. If it is lower than 70%, it will be kicked out. There is also a trick, the ally wall in the tavern, which will publish hidden recruitment posts and only display them to suitable players. Guanyu tried the interface, clicking his finger in the void, a light curtain unfolded, and the scanning range expanded. Something moved in his heart. In the past, he always felt that there were many people and many things to do, and he would rather work alone. Now, this skill is like a key, opening the path to leadership. Thanks, Ruian. Shall we give it a try? He posted, looking for hot-blooded warriors, investigating the shadow incident, and sharing rare resources. Loyalty is priority. Within a few minutes, 3 applications popped up. A tank-type dwarf with the ID Iron Bull, whose records show that he specializes in tanks, and his loyalty is 85%, an auxiliary mage Moon Shadow, who heals at full level, 90%, and a scout Wind Blade, who has strong detection skills, 75%. Add. Guanyu clicked, and the system dinged. Preliminary team expansion, Tinyu, Yueying, and Feng Blade have joined. The new members teleported into the tavern. Tiny was as strong as a bear, and he slapped the table and laughed. "Boss, I heard about the Lanquan incident, and Tiny came to hurt you." Yuang nodded gently. "I'll support you. Guys, the incident area is very dangerous. Fengren is tall and thin, with eyes like foxes. I explore the road. I know the shady story." The atmosphere in the team became warm, and Guanyu felt a weight on his shoulders but a sense of stability. This was his first team, from 0 to 6 people. He was no longer a personal hero, but the core of the strategy. While chatting, the shady investigation got to the point. Li Jing turned on the system, and the latest announcement popped up: Shadow Update Patch, added missing tracking mechanism, doubled rewards. She activated her golden finger, and the text was layered like deconstruction: ostensible reward, actual hidden code ZJ Shadow 003. More disappearances exposure: 10 high-level players entered the auction branch last week and all their badges were broken. Zhao Gang controlled NPCs, induced them to sign a data agreement, and bid on the surface, but in fact bound their accounts and sold them to a plug-in studio. Disappearance is not disappearance, it is forced offline, and real privacy is leaked. Guanyu frowned, and the fragments of prediction flashed. Zhao Gang's figure was blurred in the auction house hall, and he had a strong intention to contain him. Suddenly, there was a commotion at the door of the tavern, and a player rushed in with the ID Zhao family dog leg. His face was full of anger, and his voice was as gloomy as scratching glass. "Who is Guanyu? Boss Zhao has something to say. Hand over Lan Quan's things. Otherwise, I'll see you at the auction house, and the black market will surround you and drop them all." He dropped a blood-red token and rolled it down the table. It felt as cold as iron, exuding a threatening chill. The surrounding players whispered. Tiny clenched his fist. "Boss, this bastard." Guanyu's heart tightened, but the Phantom Crown had foresight to resolve the crisis. This was an indirect threat with no strength to back it up. He sneered and stood up. "Tell Zhao Gang, I'll keep the rare equipment." "Bid? Come on, let's see who beats whom." Go Leg's face was livid. He turned and slipped away. The tavern burst into applause, and the new members looked in admiration. The growth turned at this moment. Guanyu did not take action personally, but used words to stabilize the team. This is the art of leadership. He felt like the prototype of a game overlord, and his inner monologue was like a flood. No longer be impulsive, only strategy can win. The threat is here, we have to practice our skills. Ziyuan slapped the table, his blood boiling. "There is a combat area in the square, and I will organize small-scale training. Guanyu, show off your new equipment and let the newcomers see it." Everyone moved to the main city arena. The sand was dusty, and the air was filled with the smell of sweat and metal. As more and more players gathered around, Windblade explored the path to confirm it was safe. Yuang arranged a healing circle, and Tiny warmed up and waved his shield. At the beginning of the training, 2 challengers came out: Zhao Gang's skirmishers, ID's Shadowthorn and Fire Fist, with medium-level equipment and fierce eyes. "Dare you provoke the boss? Come and fight." This was a transformation of crisis. Guanyu nodded. "The team obeys the order. The Iron Bull is forward, the Wind Blade flanks. I will attack in person." But he decided to go in person, with the Phantom Crown fully opened, precognition like divine vision, and the world slowed down. The Shadow Stab moves first, the dagger scuttles out like a snake, and the wind makes a sharp sound. Guanyu dodged sideways, activated the mist escape on his boots, shifted instantly, and stabbed back with sword light, predicting the trajectory accurately. Stabbing into the shoulder, shadow damage exploded, and the health bar was reduced by half. Shadow screamed, "How is that possible?" The Fire Fist followed. The wind of the fist was wrapped in flames, and the heat wave hit his face. Guanyu dodges with prediction. The thorn breastplate injures him, the flames bite him back, and the Fire Fist screams and retreats. The Thunder Bracer flashed with lightning, and he jumped up and swept his sword across. Both enemies fell to the ground, and the light spots dissipated. Ding! Defeat the challenger, your personal ranking will rise 50 places, and you will be in the top 500 in the whole server. The system sounded, and the excitement exploded. With the blessing of equipment, Guanyu fell from the sky like a magic weapon, crushing the opponent with ease. The onlookers cheered, and the new member's eyes widened. The boss is invincible. Ziyuan laughed. Look, this is called a show. Guanyu gasped and fell to the ground, with blood in his heart. This is not just a victory, but a demonstration. The team is overwhelmed with confidence because of him. He has changed from a hero to a leader, and the path to dominance is clear. In the middle of the climax, Ruian's private message pops up, and the original twist intensifies the tension. I have dug up the inside story of the auction house. Zhao Gang plans a bidding containment. He buys the auction AI in the black market, locks your phantom crown on the shelves, manipulates the lowest price to a sky-high price, and then pretends to clap and lift the pole, forcing you to sell low or collapse. More, the disappearance incident involves the main city branch, the Forgotten Warehouse, which contains resource libraries and shady files. Go explore, accumulate gold coins and evidence, but be careful of ambushes. The team took action, with Windblade leading the way, and sneaked into the Forgotten Warehouse on the edge of the main city. The night is shrouded, the warehouse is like a giant beast crouching, the iron doors are rusted, and the air is filled with the smell of mold, rot and greasy smell. Tinia knocked open the door, dust hit his face, and there were piles of wooden boxes inside. The hidden monsters were refreshed. The warehouse guards a group of rats, with eyes as red as lanterns, and claws scraping against iron, making a screeching sound. Yueying milks blood, Ziyuan axe sweeps the front row, Li Jing analyzes the weakness, the Rat King is on the top of the box, break the tail and kill instantly. Guanyu commanded, the Wind Blade probes the box, the Iron Cow blocks the group attack, Li Jing and I gather the Fire King. The battle broke out, and the rats came in like a tide, with a strong fishy smell and the claw wind scratched their faces. Foreknowledge marks the path. Guanyu escapes through the mist, swords flash, thunder and lightning wrap around, and rat corpses pile up. The Rat King jumped down, his tail whipping like a whip. He dodged the counterattack, and with the blessing of the Phantom Crown's foresight, he broke the tail with one blow and the monster disintegrated. Dropped gold coins accumulate and resources are fully loaded. Warehouse key X3, shady file fragments, file scans proving that Zhao Gang bribed developers and controlled the drop rate. The resources are in hand. Li Jing was excited, her ponytail flying. This fragment can be exposed on the forum, and the economic climax is approaching. Bidding an auction, let's use evidence to suppress him. Guanyu nodded, and the team had a tacit understanding. Accumulation is not only money, but also trust. He feels that his growth is accelerating, strategic leadership makes the team run like a machine, and the prototype of the game overlord has emerged. Deep in the warehouse, a hidden door flashes, pointing to the auction hall. There is a strong atmosphere of conspiracy, and the jingle of gold coins is mixed in the wind. Their footsteps are heading towards the storm of wealth and revenge. The arches of the auction hall open like the mouth of a giant beast, swallowing up the last trace of the musty smell of the warehouse, and instead came a strong smell of metal and spices. Guanyu took the lead and stepped in. The red carpet sank softly under his feet, and it felt like stepping on a pile of money. Surrounded by layers of arcades, chandeliers twinkled like stars, illuminating the bustling group of players. Mages waved their staffs to indicate the attributes of equipment, warriors bargained loudly, and the air was filled with excited buzzing and occasional system prompts. The crown of Phantom was faintly hot, and the precognitive frame swept across the crowd, marking several suspicious figures. Zhao Gang's men were scattered in the corners, staring at them like wolves. This place is as lively as a spring festival transportation station, Ziyuan murmured in a low voice. He put away his giant axe and replaced it with a low-key backpack. However, his strong body still attracted eyebrows. Boss, put it on the shelves. I will guard the door. Whoever dares to snatch it, I will take care of it. Tinia nodded in agreement, the shield crossed. I partner with him, both tanks are protected, invincible. The new members of the team have integrated into a tacit understanding. Yueying arranged an invisible shield in the back row, and the Wind Blade slipped into the crowd to look for sentries. Li Jing followed Guanyu closely, with a rapier hidden in her sleeves, and her eyes scanned the bidding screen like a scanner. Guanyu took a deep breath and walked towards the central shelf. His heart was churning. In the past, he had never sold junk equipment for more than 1,000 gold. Now, this crown of Phantom, a top-notch product blessed with foresight, is worth almost 100,000 gold in real life. He touched the interface lightly with his finger, the helmet projection appeared, and the attribute panel shone brightly, all attributes plus 25%, prediction range expanded by 50 meters, and Phantom transformation skills were included. The system dinged, listing confirmation, starting price is 5,000 gold, bidding time limit is 30 minutes. Rarity, legendary. A server-wide announcement popped up instantly, with big red characters flashing in the field of vision. Shocking. Player Guanyu has put the Phantom crown on the shelves, and it will be dropped exclusively in the Shadow event. Who will win? Outside the square, players came in droves, the forum exploded, and the chat channel flooded the screen. Guanyu? That new dark horse? This crown is worth a lot. Will Zhao Gang's power grab it? He's used to monopoly in the black market. Guanyu felt the heat wave on his face, and foresight captured the depth of the hall, a gloomy figure approaching Zhao Gang himself, tall and thin as a bamboo pole, wearing a gold-trimmed robe. His ID flashed with the light of the top 10 on the wealth list, surrounded by more than a dozen horse boys, menacing. Boy, you are very courageous. Zhao Gang approached, his voice was as soft as a snake's letter, and he glanced at the projection of Guanyu's crown. The things in Lanquan should be mine. Bidding? Okay, I will play with you. But remember, this hall has my rules. He waved, and several fake clappers had already mixed into the crowd, and the numbers on the bidding screen jumped. The first bid, 6,000 gold. Zhao Gang's horse raised the pole tentatively. Li Jing came closer, her ponytail touched Guanyu's shoulder, and whispered, "Analysis is on." The data shows that his bottom line is more than 20,000 gold, but the black market manipulation AI will lock your listing at the climax and force you to recycle it at a low price. Compared with my gold finger, we can reverse the rhythm of his fake shooting. Guanyu nodded, and a compassion surged in his heart. This is his first economic war, and poverty in reality is like an old dream. Now, he wants to use his brain to smash his opponent's iron rice bowl. The bidding officially started, and the numbers soared like a rocket. 7,000, 8,500, 10,000. Players flocked to follow up, and Fengren whispered in the crowd, "Boss, there are 3 fake auctions on the east side, raising the price but not really buying it." Guanyu's precognition was activated, and the picture in his mind was like the stock market K-line. Zhao Gang's bottom line emerged. He planned to get stuck at 15,000, and then use the black market code to lower the price to 8,000, forcing Guanyu to collapse. But Guanyu was not in a hurry. He tapped the interface and counterattacked. The bid is 12,000. This number accurately stuck in Zhao Gang's psychological defense, forcing him to reveal his secret. Zhao Gang's face changed slightly, and Ma Zai followed up with 13,000, but Li Jing analyzed in real time. The data is abnormal, and the AI has intervened. He has 5 fake clapping hands, and he lifts the pole in a cycle to wear down your patience. Guanyu smiled and said to Zhao Gang, "Boss, have a good time? I heard that the shady story is quite deep, and the whole server knows the tricks of the ZJ sequence." Zhao Gang's eyes were stern, and Ma Zai around him was agitated, but the security NPC in the hall swept over and temporarily suppressed his anger. Suddenly, a commotion broke out at the door. 2 black-clothed assassins sprang out, their daggers flashing with cold light, and rushed to the stage. "Grab the crown." Ziyuan's reaction was like lightning, and he swung his giant axe horizontally, blocking the way. What a beautiful idea. "Iron Bull, go up." Iron Bull's shield struck out with a muffled sound like thunder. The assassin's health bar dropped in half, and he stepped back and hit the table. The wine glass shattered, and the aroma of wine splashed everywhere. Moon Shadow's healing aperture lit up, protecting the team. Wind blades sneaked up from the flank and shot an arrow through the assassin's leg, causing screams to resound through the hall. Security NPCs rushed in, but Zhao Gang's men took advantage of the chaos and sent 2 more archers to shoot arrows from the arcade. The arrows roared with a poisonous green trail. "Hold!" Guanyu shouted. The Phantom Crown predicted the trajectory of the arrow. He dodged with missed escape and pulled Li Jing sideways. The Ziyuan axe was like a hurricane, cutting off the arrows, and sawdust flying. These dog legs, chop them as many as they come. The iron bowl held the front, the shield buzzed, and an arrow bounced, and the archer fell to the ground with a cry of pain. The conflict lasted only 10 seconds, and the team resolved it with tacit understanding. The assassin was captured by the NPC, but Zhao Gang sneered, "It's just a little trick." The bidding continues, it depends on how long you can last. The pressure was on, and the number on the bidding screen stagnated at 15,000. The fake clapped hands raised the poll crazily, 1.6, 1.7. But Li Jing whispered, "The AI lock is activated, and his black market code is suppressing the minimum price. The system will automatically deduct 10% of the procedure from you, forcing you to sell at a low price." Guanyu's heartbeat accelerated, and the prediction screen was superimposed. Zhao Gang's bottom line collapse point is 25,000. If it exceeds, he will abandon the bid and switch to grabbing. The original counterattack broke out at this moment. Guanyu activated the phantom skill of the crown, and the projection flashed, and the shady file fragments popped up on all server channels. Zhao Gang's control dropped. ZJ Shadow 003 evidence exposed. The bidding is fair. Who dares to blackbox? The file skin spread like a virus, and players talked about it. Damn, it's really shady. The fake clapped hands in panic, and several abandoned the bid. Zhao Gang's face turned livid and he gritted his teeth. "Boy, you are seeking death." He personally offered 20,000 yuan, but Guanyu foresaw and caught his hesitation. The bottom line had been broken, his capital chain was tight, and black market loans had high interest rates. Guanyu smiled lightly, 21,000. The numbers jumped, and players followed suit, 2.3, 2.5. Zhao Gang and Ma Zai couldn't keep up, and beads of sweat rolled down his forehead. "Boss, the funds are not enough." Zhao Gang glared and forced 26,000, but Li Jing analyzed, his fake shot collapsed, the AI backfired, and the system fined him for violation. Guanyu made the final blow, 30,000. The audience was silent, and then burst into cheers. Zhao Gang smashed his fist on the table, turned around and waved his sleeves. "This is a tough deal for you. But the game is long." He led the team to retreat, leaving Ma Zai in embarrassment. The bidding ended, and the system rang. Phantom Crown transaction price, 32,000 gold. The seller, Guanyu, netted 28,800 after deducting formalities. He rose on the wealth list, ranking 89th in the server. Gold coins poured into his account like rain, and Guanyu felt his head buzzing. This number, in reality, is hundreds of thousands. The feeling of pleasure rushed through him like an electric current. The moment he slapped Zhao Gang in the face, he saw the embarrassed back of his opponent, and the joy of economic counterattack soared into the sky. Players gathered around and shouted compliments. "Boss Guanyu, you are awesome. The shady story is exposed, Zhao Gang is finished." The inner monologue surged like a flood, the coldness of the rental house, the crowding of the subway, and the exhaustion of working overtime were all reduced to ashes. This money is not just a number, it is proof that he, Guanyu, has transformed from an ordinary office worker into a gaming tycoon. The shackles of poverty are broken, and self-confidence is like wildfire, burning further towards the road to hegemony. Li Jing patted him on the shoulder with soft eyes. "Well done, Captain. Xiaowei's data has also been unlocked. She will join online tomorrow." Ziyuan laughed. "It's posted." "Boss, do you want to celebrate?" But an original twist comes quietly. After the deal was completed, a hidden mission popped up in the system's private message. "Shady tracking, the sale of the Phantom Crown triggers the developer's backdoor." Zhao Gang is just a pawn, and the real shady story lies at the top of the official government, the Virtual Empire Project, which controls the data of the entire server and creates global events. Reward, artifact fragments, investigate the restricted area of the main city. Guanyu squinted, and the foreseeing fragments flashed, a bigger conspiracy, and the disappearance involved real-life hackers. The depth of the conflict intensifies. This is not just an in-game fight, but a cross-realistic storm. In the aftermath of the climax, the team left the hall, with the lingering fragrance of gold coins in the wind. Guanyu went straight to the blacksmith shop and used the proceeds to upgrade his equipment. The Shadow Blade Talisman evolved into the Source of Shadow, with dodge plus 30%, the Iron Thorn breastplate was forged into Spinosaurus armor, with defense plus 40%, and the anti-injury range was expanded. Ziyuan's axe is replaced by a thundering giant blade, the Iron Bull shield is upgraded to a steel wall, and the Moon Shadow Staff is blessed with eternal light. The attributes of the whole team skyrocketed, and the tacit understanding was like breathing. Recruitment time. Guanyu opened the interface. Ruian's skills came in handy. Deep link scanning forum hot-blooded players. Posted, Guanyu team recruiting, shady investigation, sharing wealth. Loyalty first. Applications came in, and he selected 5, 2 assassin scouts, 88% loyalty, a team of archer sisters, 90%, and an engineer specializing in traps, 85%. System confirmation. The team is expanded to 11 people, and the team buff is unlocked, collective prediction plus 10%. The new allies teleported together, and the engineer ID ghost patted his chest. Boss, I will build a base to defend Zhaogang. One of the sisters blinked. We will shoot arrows to escort, and dig out the shady together. Guanyu looked at the expanded team, and his inner transformation was fixed. From a lone wolf to an overlord, he has taken this step steadily. The shadow of the restricted area is looming, and Zhaogang's revenge is brewing like a storm, but opportunities flicker. The road to wealth, and the legendary overlord, are just around the corner. The team walked firmly towards the fog shadow on the edge of the main city, and the unknown black curtain spread like a giant net. The fog and shadow of the main city wrapped around the edges like a gauze. Guanyu led the team out of the residual heat of the auction hall. The night wind mixed with the phantom jingle of gold coins blew away the hustle and bustle just now. The residual warmth of 28,800 gold coins was still beating in the interface, and his pockets felt bulging, like winning a lottery in reality. The upgrade of the blacksmith shop made the whole team's equipment shine. The Spinosaurus armor clung to the chest, reflecting the moonlight like scales. The Shadow Source amulet pulsed, and the precognition frame expanded to the entire square. But Guanyu knew that the money could not be wasted. Zhaogang's embarrassed back foreshadowed revenge, and the shadow of the black curtain was like a giant beast in the fog, with its teeth and claws. Boss, we have abundant funds, let's build a guild. Tenius slapped the steel wall shield. His voice was like thunder, and his strong body squeezed into the front of the team, attracting passers-by's attention. I heard on the forum that the guild will unlock the base buff to guard against Zhaogang's gangsters. Guanyu nodded, and Phantom Crown's prediction flashed slightly, confirming that there was room for construction in the center of the main city. He opened the interface and injected 5,000 gold. The guild has been established. The film preliminary alliance. There are 11 initial members, and the goal is to crack the shady secrets and share rare resources. The system sounded a server-wide announcement, and the red light flashed in the field of vision. The new guild is born. Guanyu is the president, and enthusiastic players are welcome to join. Applications came in instantly, and Guanyu scanned the deep link of Ruiengio, more than 80% loyalty, and the battle record is clean. Within half an hour, 8 new people were recruited, 2 hot-blooded swordsmen, ID's Fire Brother and Finching Girl. The former wields a sword like a tiger, and the latter is as agile as the wind, a team of engineer brothers who specialize in building traps, and a prophet-type assistant, whose predictive assistant skills complement Guanyu's golden finger. Welcome the new blood. Guanyu shouted on the guild channel, his voice as steady as a rock. We don't engage in internal fighting, we only dig up the truth. Anyone who has clues about Zhaogang's shady story will be rewarded with equipment. The newcomer's excited reply filled the screen, Boss is mighty. Follow Guanyu, and you'll be rich soon. The number of people in the guild increased to 19, and the base was established in the east area of the main city, a wood and stone fortress, with walls covered with vines, and the air was filled with the fragrance of newly chopped wood and the heat of the blacksmith's fire. Ruian teleported in, pulled up his hood, and laughed loudly, Boy, move quickly. I officially join and will be your mentor. Guild management skills. hierarchical command, frontline warriors, logistics engineering, and intelligence team. Li Jing is the most suitable. Li Jing approached, her ponytail swaying slightly, and her rapier still carried the earthy smell of the warehouse. She came closer to Guanyu, her voice as soft as the night wind. "Thank you, President. The guild is established, and my Xiaowei's data is stable. She will go online tomorrow, and the first thing she will do is to dig out Zhao Gang's roots." Her eyes stopped on Guanyu's Spinosaurus armor, and she smiled slightly. "After you upgraded, I feel more reliable. In the auction just now, if you hadn't predicted the counterattack, I wouldn't have been able to withstand the pressure of fake auctions by myself." Guanyu's heart felt warm, foreknowledge failed to capture her intention, but the soft light reminded him of the lonely night in reality. In the past, he always ate cold noodles alone, but now, with someone to share glances with, it felt like an extension of the team. Team strength. You analyze the shady story, I predict the path, and we complement each other. He patted her shoulder lightly, and the touch felt light, and there seemed to be a hint of ambiguous warmth in the air. Li Jing's cheeks were slightly red and she changed the subject. "Let's go to the intelligence room. I have made a new discovery." The information room at the guild base is brightly lit, the wooden table exudes rosin, and fragments of announcements are projected on the wall. Li Jing activated the golden finger, and the text appeared like a deconstruction. The ZJ sequence not only controls drops, but Zhao Gang involves the developer's inner ghost, the executor of the Virtual Empire project. The missing player data is not to sell plugins, but to feed the AI upgrade. The hidden code of the announcement shows that when it was updated last month, it was open. The developer implants an NPC transformation module, and missing persons such as Xiao Wei may be forcibly transformed into hidden NPCs, trapped in the game forever and contributing combat data. She paused and her voice sank. "Xiao Wei's badge has residual signals, deep in the restricted area. She became a guard?" Guanyu frowned, and the fragments of prediction flashed. In the fog of the restricted area, a familiar figure flashed past, and the outline of the NPC was blurred. Damn, this shady story is deeper than imagined. Zhao Gang is just a pawn, and the developer is the leader. We have to save her, not only for you, but also for all the players in the server. Li Jing nodded, her eyes shining with gratitude. Guanyu, thank you for not abandoning her. I feel, with you here, the guild is like home. Emotional interactions flowed in like a trickle, and Guanyu's inner monologue flashed. Protecting partners, this motivation is more important than getting rich. He shifted from a personal hero to the responsibility of a leader, growing like a tree with deep roots. Training time. Ziyuan's roar came from outside the base, and blood lit up the night sky like a torch. New and old members, gather in the arena. Zhao Gang's provocation is coming soon, practice well, crush him. Everyone in the guild rushed to the main city arena, dust rose on the sand, and the air was filled with the clang of sweat and metal friction. The Ziyuan organization is divided into groups. The front line is Tinyu and brother Lihua is the tank, the back line is Yuang milk and blood, Feng Xingmei is archery, the engineer brothers are laying traps, and Wind Blade is detecting positions. Guanyu put on the evolutionary amulet, and spread out the divine net of foresight. Obey the order. Simulate guild battle, outflank the left wing, suppress the right wing. I mark the enemy's path, and you follow. The training was in full swing. Brother Liaoa, a new swordsman, swung his sword to chop at the wooden stakes, sweat drops flying. Boss, this prediction buff is amazing. It feels like cheating. Feng Xingmei drew her bow and tried to fire, and the arrows roared. The atmosphere in the guild is good, brother Ziyuan's blood is contagious. Guanyu commanded smoothly, predicting the path of the virtual enemy. Everyone cooperated tacitly, and the kills were like cutting wheat. Ruyan warned from the side, President, don't just rely on individual performances, add buff distribution, share the prediction to the deputy to improve the whole team. Guanyu tried it, the interface flashed, the prediction frame spread, the newcomer's health bar was rock solid, and the training winning rate went straight to 90%. Suddenly, all channels in the server exploded. Zhao Gang's Guild Black Gold Empire provocation announcement popped up. Guanyu clown, Lan Quan thief. The battle begins in the arena. Lose the guild. Zhao Gang personally led a team of 50 people to kill. Surrounded by horses, the tall and thin figure smiled sinisterly. Boy, 89 on the wealth list? I will smash your alliance today. Outside the hall, players gathered around. The air was filled with the smell of gunpowder, and the heat wave of the arena sand was rolling. Come on. Ziyuan laughed. The axe buzzed. Boss, come on. Guanyu nodded. 19 people from the guild lined up, the Spinosaurus armor flashed, and the Phantom Crown's prediction was fully activated. Tine Yo Ding in the middle, Wind Blade flank reconnaissance. Engineers laid minefields. Yuing lives in the back row. Zhao Gang's weak point, his army of mages, predicts the breath for 5 seconds, and gathers fire to break. The battle broke out, and the Black Gold Empire rushed like a pack of wolves, with rain of bows and arrows, and the wind of arrows was harsh. The mages' fireballs roared, and the heat wave burned their skin. Guanyu's fog dodge flashed into the middle army, and the predictive Mark Mage chanted the trajectory, third from the left, break his staff. Brother Liao's sword flashed like a tiger, cutting off a staff, and the fireball backfired, screaming again and again. The Iron Bull shield was like a mountain, blocking the charge of Zhao Gang's cavalry. The muffled sound shook the ground and the dust flew up. Come. Smash you. The Ziyuan axe hurricane swept through 10 people on the flanks. The health bar dropped wildly and shouted, the guild is invincible. Fight with the boss. The newcomer Feng Xingmei's arrows were like meteors, shooting through the archer formation. The engineer trap was triggered, the thunder net exploded, paralyzed, the Black Gold cavalry fell to the ground howling miserably, and the smell of burnt smell in the air. Zhao Gang's face was livid, and he chanted the black mist summons in person, and the cold mist was wrapped around like a snake. Boy, kneel down. But Guanyu's prediction had been locked in early, and he shared it with Li Jing. Analyze the weakness, the fog core is under your feet. Li Jing stabbed with the thin sword, the fire talisman exploded, the mist collapsed, Zhao Gang's health bar bottomed out, and he retreated embarrassedly. How do you know? At the end of the first game, the Black Gold Empire lost 30 people, and the Shadow Alliance had 0 casualties. The onlookers cheered. Guanyu in command. Black Gold is finished. After 3 consecutive battles, Guanyu led like a god. Foreknowledge and shared buffs make the guild run like a machine. In the second game, the Wind Blade scouts behind enemy lines, and the Engineer minefield wipes out all Zhao Gang's cavalry. In the third game, Li Jing's analysis reveals Zhao Gang's hidden assassin, and Brother Liahua kills him with 1 sword. The excitement broke out, the Black Gold Empire collapsed, Zhao Gang fled with the remaining soldiers, and the channel was flooded with, the film preview alliance is crushing. Guanyu overlord. The pressure turned into admiration, and the newcomer's eyes were fiery. Boss, it's worth joining. The reputation of the guild skyrocketed, and they applied to add 20 more people, expanding to 39. But the original twist comes at the end of the third game. When a black and gold horseboy fell to the ground, he dropped an abnormal badge, not a standard drop, but an afterimage of the player ID, Xiaowei. NPC? Guanyu picked it up and activated precognition. The screen flashed, the missing person was transformed into a hidden guard, and his consciousness remained. Zhao Gang used the developer's backdoor to control them to attack the competing guild. The depth of suspense intensified, and Li Jing rushed up, her voice trembling. This is Xiaowei's. Has she become a tool? If the shady situation reaches this point, the developer will personally end it. Guanyu held the badge tightly, and his inner monologue was like thunder. You can't stop getting rich, you have to dig to the bottom of this truth and protect every partner. With his leadership strengthened, he turned around and shouted to the guild, brothers, this battle is not just about victory or defeat, it is about justice. Expand the guild, explore restricted areas, rescue the missing, and smash the developer's shady story. Everyone roared in response, with blood boiling. Ruyan nodded, President, we have grown. Next, the base will be upgraded and 100 people will be recruited. Zhao Gang will counterattack, and the climax of the conflict is near. The guild flag was flying high in the base, hunting in the wind. Guanyu looked at Li Jing's profile, and the emotional bond deepened. The fog and shadow in the restricted area flickered faintly, and the developers' conspiracy was approaching like a huge wave. Their footsteps were heading towards a deeper storm. The walls of the guild base still smelled like newly painted pine. Guanyu stood on the watchtower, the night wind ruffled his hair, the phantom crown was slightly hot, and the precognitive frame swept across the edge of the East District like an invisible net. The guild has expanded to 39 people, and the lights in the base are brightly lit. The sound of hammers in the blacksmith shop and the shouts of newcomers practicing swords are intertwined into a lively atmosphere. The training just now made him feel that everything was safe, but he felt uneasy in his heart. Xiao Gang's embarrassment was like the muffled thunder before the storm. Li Jing leaned against the tower, her ponytail swaying slightly, and her rapier reflected the moonlight. Guanyu, the afterimage of the badge. Xiao Wei's consciousness is still there, but the developer's backdoor is too insidious. We must first strengthen our defenses, and we can't rush in exploring the restricted area. Before he finished speaking, a red alert exploded across all server channels. The Black Gold Empire has declared war. The territory of the Shadow Alliance has been invaded. Xiao Gang personally leads 100 people, targeting the core of the base. Guanyu's heart tightened, and the foreboding golden fingers ran through his mind like electricity. The picture flashed, and the black enemy troops poured out from the fog and shadow in the East District. Archers formed formations, mages chanted the black mist, and tanks pushed in like iron walls. Xiao Gang was in the middle army, a tall and thin figure waving his staff and smiling sinisterly. "Here we come. The whole guild is on alert." Guanyu shouted, his voice as steady as a rock, and the interface pushed the battle report. The Black Gold Empire has 120 people, average equipment, and the weak point is the mage cluster in the Chinese army, but there are hidden traps, and the drop control technique is implanted into monsters to assist. The alarm bell at the base rang, and the 39 people moved like a swarm. Tinia carried the shield and rushed up the wall. "Boss, I will be the first wave." The giant axe of Ziyuan buzzed, and he was full of blood. "Brothers, fight with me. Kill that bastard Zhao Gang this time." The newcomers Liahua brother and Feng Xingmai formed an array, the engineer brothers laid a mine net, and the moon shadow staff lit up the healing aperture. Guanyu jumped down from the tower, and the Spinosaurus armor made a low sound as he pulled Li Jing. "With your golden finger, skin the enemy's weak points. I predict the path, and we will work together to counter his tricks." The invasion came like a tidal wave. The Black Gold Striker tank hit the wall, the sound of wood and stone shattering was thunderous, the dust hit your nose, and the air was filled with the smell of rust and sweat. Bows and arrows rained down, and the arrows roared through the night sky. The iron bull shield blocked the enemy, making a deafening sound, and the rebounding arrows hit the ground like raindrops. "Hold on. Boss, there's something strange happening in the enemy's army." Fengren reported from the flank, his voice urgent. Guanyu's precognition was activated, and the images in his mind were superimposed. The tip of Zhao Gang's staff flashed with blue light, and the control technique was activated. The monster refresh rate was abnormal, and a pack of shadow wolves appeared around the base, with eyes as red as lights, and phosphorescent light splashed on the ground as his claws scratched the ground. This is not a natural event, but an extension of drop control. Black market codes are implanted in the map, forcing monsters spawning to assist attacks. "Damn it, his conspiracy." Guanyu growled, his heart sinking. In the past, he always flinched in the face of crises, thinking of the reality of poverty and the powerlessness of working overtime, like a shadow. But now, the roar of the guild lit him up like a torch. Li Jing analyzed the remains of the announcement. How to break this control technique? Li Jing narrowed her eyes, and swept the interface with her gold finger, and the text appeared like a puzzle, ZJ sequence variant. He used the black market to bribe the developers, adjusted the monster AI, and locked the drop probability to his own people. The weakness of the shadow wolf is the blue core of the tail spine, but the group attack chain breaks one end and collapses. Guanyu, predict the core position, I will replenish the fire talisman. The battle is heating up. Ziyuan jumped off the wall, and the axe hit the shadow wolves like thunder. There was a sound of tearing flesh and blood, and the blue blood spattered sticky and warm. "Come on, beasts. One of them is worth 10. His muscles bulged, and the thundering giant blade swept across. The 3 wolves fell to the ground, their tails twitched and smelled of burning. But the wolves kept coming, and Zhao Gang laughed loudly in the middle of the army. "Guanyu, your little trick is over. My control skills will turn your base into a wolf den." The black gold tank pushed closer, and the mage's fireballs came. The heat wave burned the skin, the iron bull carried it hard, the shield was dented, and the health bar dropped wildly. "It hurts. But you can't retreat, Yuang, milk me." Guanyu took a deep breath, fear surged like a tide. The premonition showed that if the central army collapsed, the guild would be completely destroyed. But he gritted his teeth, his inner monologue burning like fire. "We can no longer escape from reality. This is my team, my proof." The breakthrough of courage broke out at this moment. He rushed forward with missed escape, blocking the middle road. "Ziyuan, protect the flanks. Iron Bull, push the tank, I will break the wolf core." The shadow boots were as light as the wind, and his sword light flashed, predicting the tail of the first wolf, the source of shadow talisman pulsating. The sword stabbed the blue core, and exploded the chain reaction. The 5 wolves stiffened at the same time, disintegrating into light spots. The system rang. "Crack the control chain, monster refresh rate -50%. Li Jing followed and stabbed out the fire talisman with her thin sword. Analysis confirmed. His technique relies on the blue light center, which is on Zhao Gang's staff. If the staff is broken, the conspiracy is broken. Her voice was clear, with the tenacity of an urban girl, and she threw the second talisman with her ponytail flying, burning the back row of the wolves. Brother Lihua and sister Fengxing flanked them, their swords and arrows raining like rain. "Boss, Nyo. Let's follow." The engineer's mine net was triggered, exploding 10 wolves, arcing, and smelling ozone. The black gold forward was in disarray, the tank hit the air, and the mage's chant was delayed. A series of fighting climaxes broke out. Zhao Gang's face was ashen, and he personally led the main force to rush in. 20 elite assassins were wrapped in black mist, and their daggers wandered like ghosts. The mage in the back row breathed blue flames, and the heat wave was like a sea of fire. Guanyu's foresight was like divine vision, and the world slowed down. The whole team listens to the order. The assassin's weakest point is the right rib. The mage breathes for 3 seconds, and focuses on the fire center. He was in charge, and the Spinosaurus armor activated the counter-injury, blocking the first wave of assassins. The claw wind scratched the face and hurt, but the reflected shadow damage caused the 5 people's health bars to bottom out. He cried and fell to the ground. "Why, prediction." Ziyuan's axe hurricane swept in from the side. "Brother, great job. Look at my group sweeps." He joined forces with Tiniu to withstand the tide of tanks. The axe and shield collided like gold and iron, blood and sweat splashed, and the roar shook the sky. "The guild will not fall. Kill them." The comeback from disadvantage came at this moment. Guanyu locked on Zhao Gang and froze the precognitive scene. The weak point of the staff was the blue crystal at the head of the staff, the source of the control technique. Li Jing analyzed the last attack, announcement of loopholes. The crystal shattered, falling backlash, all his resources exploded. Guanyu jumped up, missed escape passed through the assassin's net, and the sword blade was wrapped with thunder and pierced the head of the staff. "End it, Zhao Gang." Zhao Gang counterattacked with his staff, and the black mist whipped out like a whip, cold and bone-chilling, but Guanyu dodged accurately. The sword light penetrated the blue crystal, and the blue light fragments exploded like fireworks. The system buzzed. Crack the drop control technique. The Black Gold Empire resource lock is lifted, the drop rate is reversed to 100%, the enemy equipment is forced to drop. A refreshing slap in the face like honey pouring out. Zhao Gang's staff broke and his face turned pale. "Impossible. How do you know?" His elite main force collapsed, the assassin's health bar dropped wildly, the mage's breath came back to bite him, and the sea of fire burned him, and he screamed miserably. The black gold tank was like a headless fly, and the iron bull smashed the leader with a shield. "Boss, the resources are coming." The spots of light were like rain, and the drops piled up. Intermediate wristbands X10, rare scrolls X5, and Zhao Gang's black market treasury key, a resource library worth 50,000 gold. Everyone in the guild roared in response, and the Ziyuan axe hit Zhao Gang on the shoulder. Kneel down. Your monopoly is over. Zhao Gang retreated in embarrassment, and fled with the remaining soldiers. The channel flashed. The film preview alliance has won a great victory. Guanyu Kazuo is in charge. God is commanding. At the end of the battle, the area around the base was in a mess, with the smell of blood and scorched earth permeating the air, but the guild suffered no losses. Guanyu gasped and fell to the ground, with heat surging in his heart. The fear was gone, and the shadow of reality dissipated like fog. He transformed from a coward in the office to a brave man. The trust of his team allowed him to completely escape from his past. Now, he is the overlord, proving that his self-worth is at its peak. The reputation skyrocketed, and the guild ranked first in the region in the whole server ranking. The equipment harvest allowed everyone to upgrade a wave. The Spinosaurus armor evolved into the Dragonthorn War armor, with defense plus 50%, the source of Shadow Fusion Scroll, predicting the entire map. Boss, we've got it. Let's divide Zhao Gang's treasury. Brother Liaohua shouted excitedly. Feng Xingmei distributed resources, and Yueying treated the aftermath. Ziyuan patted Guanyu on the shoulder, sweating brightly. Brother, this battle is so exciting. Your courage has infected the whole team. Li Jing approached, her eyes softened. Guanyu, thank you, you saved Xiaowei's chance. The emotional bond deepened, and she gently held his hand, feeling as warm as reality. But an original twist creeps in. The black market key dropped by Zhao Gang was activated, and a secret letter from the developer appeared. Blood-red text jumped out. ZJ is only an agent, the source of the disappearance, the core AI phantom of the Virtual Empire project, located deep in the restricted area. It swallows player data and creates immortal NPCs. Target, reality virtual fusion controls the consciousness of global players. The holder, Guanyu, has been marked as a threat. The evidence is in the restricted area of the ultimate copy, cracked or destroyed. Guanyu gasped and pieced together the fragments of his prediction. Xiaowei was the first victim, and the top developers were personally responsible for the plot. This conspiracy transcended reality, and hackers colluded with the game. This is too big. Li Jing murmured, and everyone in the guild gathered around. Ruyan pulled up his hood. President, the area ranks first, but this is the beginning of the final conflict. We have to go to the restricted area. The team works together. The legendary overlord is right in front of us. Guanyu nodded, his eyes were firm, and his heart was completely transformed. No longer afraid, he wants to uncover everything, save people, get rich, and reach the top. The guild flag is hunted, the regional hegemon is determined, the plot advances like a storm, the blue light in the restricted area faintly calls, and their footsteps are heading towards the abyss of the ultimate conspiracy. The fog in the restricted area squirmed like a living thing, and the blue light pulsated faintly in the night, like an ominous heart. Guanyu stood on the watchtower of the guild base, the wind blowing across his face, carrying the smell of damp earth and the faint aftertaste of electricity. Zhao Gang's defeat boosted the team's morale, but the abnormal badge was still in his hand and its afterimage flickered like a ghost, making him sleep uneasy. The guild has expanded to 39 people. The lights in the base are brightly lit. The shouts of newcomers practicing their swords are intertwined with the sound of the blacksmith's hammer. The air is filled with the mixed smell of rosin and sweat. Li Jing pushed open the tower door, her ponytail swaying slightly, and she held a stack of projection interfaces in her hand. Guanyu, can't you sleep? Come to the intelligence room, I have new clues. Zhao Gang's key unlocked some files, and the announcements are all connected. Guanyu nodded and followed her down the tower, his footsteps making a muffled sound on the stone steps. There was a warm feeling in his heart. In the past, he always stayed up late and browsed the forum alone, but now she shared it with him. It felt like a real partner, which alleviated his loneliness. The wooden table in the intelligence room exudes the fragrance of aged ink, and fragments of announcements are projected on the wall like a star map. Li Jing activated the golden finger, and the text emerged like a deconstructed puzzle. The ZJ sequence is not a single control, but a chain of conspiracy between the developer and Zhao Gang. The tailcode of the announcement shows that each version of the update contains the Virtual Empire subcode. The developer's top management implants an AI backdoor, and Zhao Gang is responsible for the execution, inducing manipulation events player data upload. The missing persons, such as Xiaowei, did not disappear, but were transformed into phantom guards, trapped in NPC bodies forever, contributing combat simulations to AI upgrades. Core shady story. Integrating reality and virtuality, developers want to use game data to control players' consciousness, and Zhao Gang takes dividends from monopoly equipment. Guanyu came closer, and the golden finger of prediction was like an electric current running through his brain, and the images in his mind were superimposed. Deep in the blue light, the AI core was pulsing like a giant brain, and the afterimages of NPCs around him were struggling. He traced the projection with his finger and connected the afterimage of the badge. Yes, I foresee the level of the restricted area. The first level trap is to control monsters, the second level is fake NPC bait, and the third level. Zhao Gang personally guards the core. But the evidence of conspiracy is here. Zhao Gang's file has the signature of the developer, the list of testers of the Phantom project, hundreds of players, including Xiaowei. The analysis was like sparks colliding, and suspenseful clues were connected into a web, making him feel like he had changed from a player to a detective, and the thrill of reasoning was as refreshing as caffeine. The door opened and Ruyan walked in, with his hood pulled down and his voice low. "Boys, have you dug deeper? I saved the old version of the ultimate hidden plot. Add me a deep link to share." The interface flashed and files poured in. During the game test, the developer signed a private contract with Zhao Gang, and the black market money flow pointed to the official server. Ruyan pointed to a page of blood-red code. This is the core. The Phantom AI is not a bug, but a plan. Zhao Gang manipulates events to brush data, and developers use it to train super AI. The goal, to bind a real-life helmet, and the player's consciousness is permanently trapped in the virtual, and becomes a laborer to contribute computing power. The disappearance incident is a pilot, and if it cannot be rescued, the entire server will collapse. There is a transformation room deep in the restricted area. If you destroy it, you can reverse the NPC. Li Jing's eyes lit up and she clenched her rapier. Xiaowei is inside. "Guanyu, let's join forces and the guild will attack." Guanyu nodded, feeling a surge of responsibility in his heart. This is not just a game, it is about saving people. He opened the guild channel. Everyone gathers. The Film Preview Alliance launches a general attack. Shady areas, rescue the missing, and smash the developer's conspiracy. Ziyuan, you lead the front line. Tinyu, Liahua Dingtan, Li Jing in my intelligence team. New logistics, Yueying milk, engineers lay mines. Let's go! The guild started like a chariot, and 39 people lined up to teleport to the edge of the restricted area. The fog was thick as milk, the mud was slippery underfoot and creaked with every step, and the air was pungent with the electric smell of decay and blue light. Ziyuan opened the way in front, the thundering giant axe buzzed, and Zhanxue roared, "Brothers, charge!" Zhao Gang's henchmen, chop them down. The iron bull shield wall was like a mountain, Brother Liahua's sword flashed, and the newcomers followed. Their morale was like fire. Guanyu and Li Jing were in the middle of the army, and they scanned the front with a precognitive frame, a wave of traps. There are wolves hiding in the fog on the left, and fake NPC bait on the right. Sure enough, the howl of the wolf was deafening in the fog. Its red eyes rushed towards me like a sea of lights, and its claws scratched the ground and splashed with phosphorescent light. Ziyuan laughed, "Come on." The axe swept across, tearing flesh and blood, and splattered sticky blue blood. But the foreknowledge shows multiple signs. The wolves hide a trap behind the ground, and if they step on it, they will get an electric shock. Guanyu shouted, "Turn left on the front line, avoid stabbing area. Engineer, block the road with thunder nets." The engineer brothers moved quickly and buried the scintillating nets. The wolves rushed in and exploded the arc. The smell of burnt sizzling hit their nostrils, and the 10 wolves disintegrated. Tinyu withstood the aftermath, blocked the claw attack with a shield, and said with a dull sound like thunder, "Boss, God foresaw. We are safe." The second wave of crisis is more sinister. A fake NPC old man appears, in ragged clothes, with a hoarse voice. "Adventurer, the relics of Blue Spring are here, pay the price." Li Jing's golden finger scanned. Fake. The announcement code shows that Zhao Gang controlled it to induce the signing of the data agreement. Guanyu's precognition screen was superimposed. The old man touched the teleportation trap and went straight into the transformation room. He pulled the front line. "Don't believe it." The runes under Jihua's feet. Brother Liao's sword stabbed the ground, the runes exploded, the old man disintegrated into mist, and dropped the control scroll, a piece of evidence, pointing to Zhao Gang himself. The general offensive is in full swing, and the guild has a tacit understanding to resolve the 3 traps: predicting the path, analyzing weak points, engineers blocking, and Moon Shadow stabilizing the rear. Feng Xingmei's arrows rain down, shooting through the fog and ambush. "Boss, this cooperation is invincible." The newcomer's eyes worshipped. Guanyu felt that leadership was like an arm and a finger, and his inner transformation accelerated. From a lone wolf to a legend, this team is his backbone. The blue light hall finally appeared in the depths, like a huge palace crouching. The walls were covered with veins, and the electric current buzzed in the air. Zhao Gang stood in the center, a tall and thin figure wearing a golden robe. The blue crystal on the staff was broken and replaced with a new weapon. Surrounded by more than a dozen elite horsemen, the transformation room behind flickered afterimages, the NPC silhouettes of the missing players, struggling and whispering like ghosts crying. The climactic battle breaks out. Zhao Gang sneered. "Guanyu, do you think you won? Open the developer's back door. Phantom guards, kill." The door of the transformation room opened, and more than a dozen NPC guards rushed out. Their eyes were hollow, and their movements were as stiff as puppets. They rushed at them with fog blades, chilling their bones. Ziyuan shouted, "Hold the front line. Boss, charge at the central army." The iron bull shield wall blocked the first wave. Brother Lihua flashed his sword and cut off the 2 guards, and the mist dispersed. But the guards attacked in a chain. The fog blades were like webs, and the guild's health bar dropped wildly. Guanyu's precognition was fully activated, and the world slowed down. The weak point of the guard is the blue core at the back of the neck. 3 of them are broken, and the chain collapses. Li Jing, the fire talisman, fills the position. Li Jing stabbed out with the thin sword. The flames exploded 3 cores. The guard was frozen and collapsed, and the afterimage of the player ID flashed in the light spot rescued 3 people. They turned back into human form, gasped and fell to the ground. Thank you, we thought we were trapped forever." The emotional impact was overwhelming, and a female player burst into tears. "Xiao Wei's sister, she is still in there." The exciting climax detonated at this moment. Zhao Gang waved his staff, and the black mist summoned a giant beast, controlling the shadow dragon. Its scales pulsated with blue light, its roar shook the palace, its wings stirred up a storm, and heat waves and arcs burned its skin. The guild's flanks were in chaos, and Mazai assassins roamed around to attack. Guanyu's heart sank, but the spark of reasoning ignited. The precognition superposition file. The shadow dragon's weakness is the wing root rune, which comes from the announcement ZJ code. "Zhao Gang, your conspiracy has been exposed. The developer's signature is on the scroll, and the phantom plan is exposed. Did you manipulate the event to sell data in exchange for a monopoly? The entire server forum has been refreshed, and I've taken your black market treasury." He shouted. The interface shared evidence projection, and the entire field of view flashed with blood-red text. Ma Zai panicked. "Boss, it's over." Zhao Gang's face turned pale and the tip of his staff trembled. "Shut up. What do you know? This is the future of the Empire." But the defense line collapsed and the Shadow Dragon's attack was delayed. Guanyu commanded, "Ziyuan, gather the fire wing roots." Iron Bull blocks the dragon's claws. Li Jing breaks the runes. Newly rescued, join the back row. The team cooperates perfectly. Ziyuan's axe hits the wings like thunder, blue scales shatter, and blood spurts like ink. Iron Bull's shield top claw hits, with a deafening sound, and the lightning flashes back. Li Jing's fire charm accurately burns the runes, and the dragon's body becomes stiff. Guanyu Wuduan jumped up, and the sword blade was wrapped in shadow and pierced the dragon's core. The reasoning is over, your conspiracy, shatter it. With a sword piercing through, the shadow dragon howled and disintegrated, light spots rained down, and core fragments dropped. The developer's backdoor key. Xiao Gang retreated, and Ma Zai collapsed. He gritted his teeth and chanted the last black mist, but Guanyu dodged in anticipation, and approached with a backhand sword light. Kneel down. Evidence of conspiracy, I will report it to the official. Wake up from your overlord dream. Xiao Gang's health bar bottomed out, and he knelt down. Sorry. I have inside information, the top developer is. Before it was over, the system buzzed. The shady branch has been completed. Xiao Gang's power has collapsed, and resources have been transferred to the Alliance. Rescue the missing players +5, and the guild's reputation ranks first in the server. The refreshing outsmarting was like an electric current. Suspense turned to victory, the players cheered, and the forum exploded. Guanyu Shen's reasoning. The shady story is broken. Guanyu gasped and fell to the ground, looking at the group of players that Li Jing rushed to rescue. She hugged a sister, tears flashing. Xiao Wei is almost here. He pulled her up, and his inner monologue was like the warm sun. At this moment, I am a legendary leader, no longer cowering, and my emotions are like vines. Li Jing, the two of us, have been more than just teammates since the beginning of the investigation. She turned her head and touched his shoulder lightly with her ponytail, her eyes soft. Idiot, I should have known it earlier. If we confirm our intentions, we will fight to the end together. She kissed her forehead lightly, and the touch was as warm as reality. Everyone in the guild booed, and Ziyuan laughed. Boss, how romantic. But on the edge of the shady scene, the transformation room is still pulsing. An original twist breaks out, the core fragment is activated, the door of the transformation room is opened. Xiao Wei and other 5 NPCs struggle out, and their consciousness wakes up. Guanyu, thank you. After being rescued, the emotions are so deep that the player bursts into tears and joins the guild, and the team expands to 50. Ruyan nodded. President, we have grown. But the counterattack of the top developers is approaching. The AI core is in the deep layers and on the verge of collapse. The general attack continues. Guanyu held the sword and fixed his gaze on the blue light abyss. The guild roared in response and stepped towards the final storm. The conspiracy flickered like a candle. The blue light in the transformation room gradually dimmed like a dying pulse, and the air was filled with the smell of burnt electricity and residual fog. Guanyu wiped the blue blood on the sword blade, his chest heaved, and the Spinosaurus armor reflected the residual light, making him look like a general walking out of the flames of war. The surrounding guild members gasped and gathered around. The newly rescued players looked confused, but with gratitude for rebirth. One of the female players, Xiao Wei's sister, clenched her fists. Boss Guanyu, you are here, there are more people inside, and Xiao Gang's remnants are guarding the last floor. Li Jing rushed forward, hugged her, her ponytail trembling slightly. Tell me, where is Xiao Wei? Where is she? Deep core room, the sisters gasped. With an NPC-like hoarse voice, Xiao Gang personally guarded the door and locked the door with the developer's back door. But the evidence is all on the AI terminal. Xiao Gang's collusion records, developer signatures, and the transaction sheet for selling data to hackers. Guanyu nodded, predicting that the golden finger was slightly hot, and a picture flashed in his mind. The core room is like a giant brain, the blue crystal terminal is projected. Xiao Gang's figure is embarrassed but sinister. Something moved in my heart. This is the last battle, not just for victory or defeat, but for the truth. He turned around and shouted to the guild, brothers, we have the evidence. Li Jing, you lead the rescue team to clean up the remnants. Ziyuan, Tinyu, lead the front line to encircle and suppress Xiao Gang's dog legs. The newcomers in logistics, Yueying milk blood. Ruyan and I go straight to the core and report to the official. The guild is running like a machine, with 50 people acting separately. Ziyuan roared loudly, his thunderous axe buzzing, and his blood rushed to him. Let's go. Kill those remnants, I'm hungry for my axe. He led Tinyu, brother Liaoa, and Feng Xingmei to rush towards the flank passage, their footsteps shaking the ground, and their axes and shields clashing like war drums. In the fog and shadow, Zhao Gang's remnants sprang out, 20 elite assassins and archers, their IDs flashed with black-gold afterglow, their daggers swam with cold light, and arrows whistled like rain. The teeny shield wall blocked, making a deafening sound, and the rebounding arrows hit the ground with a smell of earthy smell. Come on. The guild is not afraid of you. The Ziyuan axe swept through the wind, killing 3 assassins, and the health bar dropped wildly, shouting, the boss said, encirclement and suppression. Leave no one behind. Feng Xingmei's arrows shot through the archers' formation like meteors, and the engineer's mine net exploded, arcing, and the smell of burnt air filled the air. The remnants of the party were defeated, and gold coins and scrolls were dropped. Ziyuan laughed, it's great. These losers can be eliminated easily. Li Jing led the rescue team into the side passage of the transformation room, her rapier hidden in her sleeves, and her eyes scanning like an eagle. Her golden finger was activated, and the remaining announcement code appeared, Xiaowei's signal is strong, and the NPC cage is just ahead. The sisters pointed the way, and everyone pushed open the iron door. The creaking sound was harsh, and blue light shrouded the afterimages of more than a dozen NPCs inside, with empty eyes whispering and struggling. Li Jing rushed to a corner and touched a ponytailed female NPC, Xiaowei. It's me, Li Jing. The NPC's body trembled, the blue light shattered, and her consciousness came back to her. She blinked and burst into tears. Jing, you're here? Zhao Gang said that we will be trapped here forever, and the data will be given to AI, but I held on. For a moment of hugging, emotions surged like a tide. Li Jing choked up, fool, the guild will save you. The shady story is broken, let's go home. Xiaowei stood up, her ID returned to player status, and joined the team. Boss Xia Guanyu, I am a combat expert, and I will take revenge. The rescue team expanded, and the small group of remnants were swept away like mowing grass. Li Jing felt warm in her heart, friends reunited, this investigation was worth it. Guanyu and Ruiyan went straight to the core room, their footsteps echoed in the mist, and they predicted the path marked by the border. Ruiyan, your file is of great help. But Zhao Gang's counterattack is approaching, and the developer's backdoor will summon the ultimate guard. Ruiyan pulled his hood and said in a low voice, boy, I have something to hide from you. Before adding deep links, I was a tester of the first batch of missing players during the game's internal beta. The developers transformed me into a hidden mentor, implanted memories, and monitored high play. But your prediction triggered a backlash in me, and I woke up. Identity exposed, I am a victim of the Phantom Project. I have seen the evidence with my own eyes. The developer's top executive Shadow Master personally signed a contract with Zhao Gang, and hackers joined forces to target the global helmet data network and control players' reality consciousness. Guanyu was stunned, and pieced together the fragments of his prediction. Ruiyan's figure was superimposed on the afterimage of the NPC, and the world view was like a lightning strike. The game is not just entertainment, it is a cage of conspiracy. Why are you helping me? Ruiyan smiled bitterly, prove that I am not a tool. Let's go, smash the terminal before reporting. The core room door opened, the blue crystal terminal pulsated like a giant brain, the air buzzed harshly, and the smell of electricity was strong. Zhao Gang stood in the center, his tall and thin body clad in shredded robes, his staff's head flashing with new crystals, surrounded by 5 developer backdoor guards, semi-mechanical NPCs, with eyes as red as machine lights, and metal claw arms clanging against each other. Guanyu, you destroyed my black market, and the guild surrounded and suppressed my remnants? A final counterattack, come on. The back door is fully opened, and the Phantom is in its ultimate form. Zhao Gang roared, with a wave of his staff, the blue light of the terminal burst out, the guard was activated, the mechanical arm whipped like a whip, and the wind pressure hurt his face. Hacker codes appeared on the rear projection, trying to lock Guanyu's ID, and a system warning popped up, data intrusion, risk of consciousness transformation. Guanyu's heartbeat accelerated, his precognition was fully activated, and the world slowed down. The weak point of the guard was the joint chip, and Zhao Gang's staff core chain terminal was broken and everything collapsed. But as the invasion continued, a realistic picture flashed in his mind. He was in a rented house, his helmet was pulsing, and his poor life reappeared like shackles. Fear came over him, but he gritted his teeth. Can't retreat. The inner monologue is like fire. I have transformed from an office worker to an overlord. I will smash this shady story for all players. Ruyan, stop the invasion. Use your tester's memory to analyze the back door. Ruyan nodded, his eyes firm under the hood. Understood. Link sharing, backdoor code ZJ final. The weakness is the terminal base rune. Guanyu's fog escape flashed in, the sword light stabbed the guard joints, the source of shadow exploded, the chip shattered, the mechanical arm stiffened and disintegrated, and the backdoor fragments fell from the light spot. A chain of slaps in the face broke out. Xiao Gang chanted about the black mist behemoth, and the shadow dragon's remnant soul was reborn. Its scales were wrapped with blue lightning, its roar shook the palace, and its wings stirred up a storm and burned its skin with heat waves. Die! But Guanyu's precognition superimposed reasoning. The dragon's weakness emerged from the file, the developer's signature was hidden in the scales, and the evidence projection flashed, and all the channels in the server flooded the screen. Xiao Gang's conspiracy was exposed. The Phantom Lord signed a hacker, and the Phantom planned to control consciousness. Players talked about it. Fake? Guanyu Shen's reasoning. Xiao Gang turned pale. How did you dig it? Guanyu sneered, foreknowledge and evidence, your trick has been exposed long ago. The guild encircled and suppressed, and all your remnants were wiped out. Li Jing rescued Xiaowei, and your data cage was shattered. He jumped up, the blade of the sword was wrapped with thunder and pierced the dragon scales. The cracks exploded, and the signature projection was enlarged. The ID of the developer's senior executive flashed, and the transaction sheet jumped out in blood red. The success of reasoning climaxes one after another. Ruyan touched up from the side, the tester's skills were activated. Yanshou shouted, I'm awake, your surveillance is over. He hit the terminal base with his staff, the runes cracked, the invasion backfired, Xiao Gang's ID was locked, and the health bar dropped wildly. The shadow dragon disintegrates and drops AI core fragments, a complete set of evidence. Guanyu approached Xiao Gang with a sword. Kneel down. The shady story is revealed. Your monopoly, data selling, and player conversion are all evidence of crime. Xiao Gang backed up and hit the terminal, broke his staff and kneeled down. Spare your life, the developers will retaliate. But the system vibrated, the player's report is confirmed, the shady incident is admitted. The official investigation is launched, Xiao Gang's account is permanently banned, and the resources are confiscated. Influence Alliance rewards, plus 100% reputation for all servers, rare artifact fragments X for the entire team. A server-wide announcement pops up, golden light flashing, Era of Fantasy emergency update, the Shadow incident has been resolved. Thank you to player Guanyu for reporting it. The developer's internal ghosts have been eliminated, missing player data has been restored, and compensation has been doubled. Ranking update. Guanyu has topped the personal list, and is the legendary overlord of the entire server. The feeling of exhilaration is like an electric current, and the chain slaps in the face bring readers to the climax. Xiao Gang goes from a boss to a prisoner, and the guild goes from a newcomer to a king. Guanyu took a breath and stood still, his heart completely transformed, proving his worth is no longer proving himself through poverty, but helping others, rescuing the missing and smashing the conspiracy. This is growth. The guild channel flooded the screen with congratulations, the boss is invincible. Ziyuan reported, the remaining members will be wiped out. Li Jing hugged Xiaowei and rushed in, found it. Rescue them all. Ruyan patted him on the shoulder and took off his hood, revealing a young face, the true face of the tester. Boy, thank you. I'm free. Worldview? The game is a cage, but players like you can smash it. In the emotional climax, Guanyu looked at Li Jing and Xiaowei, feeling warm in his heart. The team is like home, and the dawn of reality is near. The shady curtain collapsed, the blue light was extinguished, and the fog in the restricted area cleared. However, the aftermath of the official investigation was faint, and a successful ending was heralded: the legendary road, endless adventure. The fragments of the blue crystal terminal were still flickering near the feet, and the air in the core room was filled with the smell of burnt circuits, mixed with the fragrance of moist earth after the fog dissipated. Guanyu gasped and stood firm, the last trace of blue blood dripping from the sword blade. The Spinosaurus armor reflected the light of the guild members' torches, making him look like an unfailing god of war. A team of 50 people gathered around, and the eyes of the newly rescued players turned from confusion to admiration. Xiaowei held Li Jing's hand tightly, with tears flashing. "Jing, Boss Guanyu, we are free. Xiao Gang's bastard's cage is all broken." Li Jing turned to look at Guanyu, her ponytail swaying, her eyes full of softness and gratitude. "Guanyu, this shady curtain, you smashed it. We won." Channels across the server erupted like a volcano, and players' messages flooded the screen like rain. Guanyu Shinren. The shady story was exposed, and the developer's inner ghost escaped. The film pre-production alliance is awesome, the first guild in the server. The system announcement flashed with golden light. Emergency investigation completed. The shady incident of the Shadow Incident collapsed. Xiao Gang was permanently banned, and the black market resources were transferred to the righteous side. Guanyu Play received the exclusive title Guardian of Illusions, and the reward artifact Eye of Prediction, all attributes plus 50%, unlimited precognition range, and comes with truth insight skills. Guanyu's interface shook, the artifact was automatically equipped, his eyes pulsed like sapphires, and the world was instantly clear. Everyone's intentions and hidden paths were all unfolded like a map. He felt a warm current flowing through his body, from the top of his head to the soles of his feet. This was not just a prop, but an affirmation of his growth. The guild base teleported back to the main city, and cheers came like a flood. Outside the base wall, a sea of players gathered around to watch, and the air was filled with the aroma of oil and alcohol from the barbecue celebration. Ziyuan carried the thundering giant axe and patted Guanyu on the shoulder with a big smile. "Boss, this is a cool title. Ever since the little battle in Lanquan, you have been taking us flying." "Vice President? Brother is here." Guanyu nodded, and the interface confirmed. Ziyuan, promoted to Vice President. "The whole guild is listening to the order. Expand to 100 people, share resources, and protect every player." Newcomers Liahua Brother and Fengsing cheered. "President is mighty." Ruyan came closer and took off his hood, revealing a tired but relieved face. "Boy, my matter is over. The identity of the tester has been exposed, and I will retire and pass on the legacy. I will give you all the precognition skills, archived in the guild library. The game is a prison, but you smashed it. Take care." He handed over his hand and teleported away, the lingering sound of his smoke sounding like an old friend saying goodbye. Li Jing pulled Xiaowei closer and said in a soft voice, "Let's solve the remaining missing cases together. The artifact plus your foresight, my golden finger, will sweep away the last cage." Guanyu held her hand tightly, and the touch was as warm as reality. "Let's go, together." They led the rescue team to sneak into the remaining passage of the restricted area. The fog was thinning, and the blue light cage was swaying like a candle. Xiaowei's combat specialist followed up, waving her rapier like the wind. "Boss, I'll step forward. Kill these remnants of NPCs." Scanned by the eye of precognition, the path was clear. 3 transformation rooms were hidden, and there were 20 missing players inside. Guanyu commanded, "Li Jing, analyze the door lock code. Xiaowei, break the guard. I mark the weakness." Cooperation is like breathing. Li Jing's golden finger decodes, and the door opens creaking. Xiaowei's sword light flashes, cutting off the mechanical guard, and the mechanical arm shatters with a clang. Guanyu predicts and dodges the chain attack, stabs the blue core with the sword, and the cage collapses. The players woke up and burst into tears. "Thank you. Guanyu, Li Jing, you are heroes." The remaining incidents were swept away. The rescue rate of missing persons in all servers was 100%, the reputation of the guild was at its peak, and the top player in the wealth list went straight to the first place. The transfer of black market resources resulted in a net gain of 500,000 gold, and the equipment library was full of artifacts. But the aftermath of the shady story is not over yet. The official investigation went deeper, and the ultimate alert popped up on the channel. the remnant party of the developer's senior management has activated the ultimate form of the Shadow Master AI, located in the abyss of the restricted area, threatening the entire server, calling for an alliance. Guanyu's heart tightened, and he predicted that the picture was like a lightning strike. The giant brain AI awakened, with blue light like a sea, controlling the remaining monsters and hacker projections, and the target restarted the plan. The guild channel was buzzing. Boss, lead the whole server to fight. Guanyu took a deep breath, and the interface announced, the film preview alliance calls on the whole server. The alliance will attack. Not for equipment, but for freedom. Xiao Gang is the chess piece, the master is the source, follow me. The response from the whole server was overwhelming. Hundreds of guilds gathered, 5,000 players lined up to teleport into the abyss. War drums roared in the air, armor clashed, and the air was filled with the pungent smell of sulfur and electricity. The abyss is like a bottomless mouth, a giant blue brain is suspended in the center, and the phantom dominates the AI, taking shape, a giant beast that is half human and half machine, with tentacles like blue electric whips and eyes as red as lava. It roars loudly, Guanyu, you destroy my empire. Data fusion, eternal cage, restart. Monsters surge, shadow dragons, mechanical guards, and hacker projections wander like ghosts. Wind pressure and heat waves are arced, and the ground cracks. The Alliance frontline was in chaos, tanks' health bars dropped wildly, and the mage's singing was interrupted. Guanyu jumped onto the high platform, the divine weapon of precognition was fully activated, and the world slowed down like a divine vision. All servers obey the order. The monster's weak point is at the tentacle base, and the AI core hides the blue crystal between the eyebrows. The alliance is divided into 3 groups, the left wing outflanks the dragon group, the right wing suppresses the machinery, and the Chinese army concentrates fire on me to mark. His voice was like thunder, and he burst out with a domineering declaration, I, Guanyu, started as an ordinary player, escaped from the real poverty, deduced the shady story step by step, and smashed the cage. Today, the Alliance is invincible, crushing all enemies, reaching the top of the legend. Who dares to stop me? A quick counterattack rushes through you like an electric current. The morale of the whole server was high, and the players shouted in response, Boss Guanyu, fuck him. Vice President Ziyuan led the Central Army, with a giant axe like thunder, brothers, charge. The boss's foresight is amazing. The iron bull shield wall withstood the tentacle whip, making a deafening sound, and the lightning flashed back. Brother Liao's sword flashed, cutting off the base. Blue blood sprayed sticky. Feng Xingmei rained arrows, shooting through the projected ghost shadow, and the screams echoed. Li Jing analyzed on the side. Goldfinger confirmed. Core chain, 3 tentacles broken, all collapsed. She stabbed out the fire talisman with her rapier, burning one. Xiao Wei followed up with the combat specialist, with a sword like a tiger, for freedom, kill. The core of the guild was running like a machine. The new engineer's thunder net blocked the road, and Yuang's healing aperture stabilized the back row. The left wing of the alliance outflanks the dragon group, and the right wing suppresses the machinery. The monster tide collapses, light spots rain like rain, and intermediate equipment drops pile up. The climax is white-hot, the AI master roars, the tentacles are like nets, the arc heat wave burns the skin, and the alliance's health bar bottoms out. Guanyu's heart flashed, the loneliness of the past, the exhaustion of working overtime, and the escape from games were all turned into fuel. He traveled through the mist, predicting the mark between his eyebrows. Now, focus on the fire core of the whole server. The artifacts I discern the truth, and the projection revealed the final evidence. The signatures of senior developers and hacker transactions were all exposed, and the channel screen flashed. The master is finished. The alliance's firepower was in full force. The mage's breath roared, archers' arrows rained down, and warriors' axes and swords fell. Guanyu jumped up, wrapped his sword in shadow thunder, and stabbed the blue crystal. The black curtain is over. Shatter your empire. The crystal exploded like fireworks, the AI howled and disintegrated, and his body turned into light points and poured out, and dropped the ultimate equipment, the Empire Collapse crown, all attributes plus 100%, foreseeing eternity, comes with buffs for the whole server, and the crushing attributes make Guanyu invincible. The system resounded, the ultimate event is completed. The Phantom Lord is defeated, and the shady scene in the entire server is eliminated forever. Guanyu is awarded the title of Legendary Overlord, ranked first in the Guild Film Preliminary Alliance, and has peak wealth and reputation. Reward, real-life redemption code, worth millions. The whole server cheered like a tsunami, and players gathered around, boss, an eternal legend. Guanyu landed, breathing and laughing. From an ordinary player in a rental house to an alliance leader, this counterattack was as complete as a dream. The lingering sound of his domineering declaration, "The game is a battlefield, and I, Guanyu, have proven that ordinary people can also reach the top." In the aftermath, emotional perfection quietly arrives. Li Jing came closer, her ponytail lightly touching his shoulder, her eyes as soft as moonlight. "Guanyu, you have changed since the announcement of the hidden code. The shady story has been shattered, let's meet in reality." Guanyu held her hand, feeling warm to the touch. "Well, after the helmet comes off the production line, see you in Beijing. Coffee shop, waiting for you." Xiaowei cheered, "Sister, come on." Ziyuan slapped his back and laughed, "Boss, friendship will last forever. I, the vice president, will keep the association." The inner monologue is like a warm sun. The realization of self-worth is no longer a proof of poverty, but helping others and moving forward together. This growth, like game upgrades, never ends. Late at night, Guanyu took off his VR helmet. The lights in the rental house were shining, and the aroma of hot rice on the table was fragrant. He leaned back in his chair and reviewed the process, from the hidden hints in the update announcement, to the Blue Spring reasoning, the auction counterattack, the guild's expansion, and finally smashing the shady story. Growing up all the way, from a lone wolf to a legend, friendship is like iron, love is like light, and the dawn of reality is shining. The stars outside the window were bright. He smiled, turned off the light and fell asleep. The story comes to an end, and the satisfaction is like the aftertaste. The era of fantasy will remain a legend forever.